little aggressive.
Yes.
And the buyer,
The defendant comes to you and says, I'll give you $300 for the dog.
kept in the dark.
Did he explain to you he was selling the dog because it had become aggressive?
No, not like that. I couldn't even get in contact with him anymore.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Philip Taylor is suing Dwayne Gray for the value of 2 Rottweiler puppies.
Order. All rise.
This case number 131 on the calendar in the matter of Taylor versus Gray.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Taylor, you were selling a Rottweiler.
That's correct.
Rottweiler that was 18 months old, a
Yes,
year and a
ma'am.
half old. A Rottweiler for which you had no papers.
Correct.
Who did you buy the dog from?
I bought the dog from one of my wife's classmates.
And he had no papers for that dog because the one or both of the parents didn't have papers, were not registered with the American Kennel Club.
That's correct.
Okay, so you have actually no idea whether they're purebred Rottweilers or not because there are no papers to prove that.
Correct.
Good. So did you buy the dog as a puppy?
Yes.
Why were you... Don't look over there.
Okay.
Why were you selling... You bought the dog as a puppy.
Yes.
By the way, how much did you or your wife pay for the dog?
We paid $400 for Ebony.
Is that your only dog?
Yes.
Now tell me why you were selling it.
We were selling Ebony because she had become disobedient toward my wife.
A little aggressive.
Yes.
So you were selling an aggressive dog. I'm just following this, Mr. Taylor. There's a reason for this. So you were selling a dog for which you paid $400 as a puppy. And as we all know, puppies are a more valuable commodity than adult dogs because people want puppies so that they can train them themselves. It's a sort of a natural thing, especially if you're going to buy a puppy, a dog, rather than rescue a dog, you get a puppy. So now, a year and a half later, you're selling a dog that you paid $400 for that has become aggressive, and you're selling the dog, and you wanted, according to you, $800 for the dog. So twice as much as what you paid for it. Now, it's been devalued as a result of 2 things. Its age and the fact that it has become so aggressive towards your wife. Because most of the time, if you have a puppy, even if it becomes a little bit testy, you say, oh, but it becomes testy. You don't want to have it around anymore. So you were selling this dog and you wanted twice as much money. The defendant comes to you and says, you know what? I like the dog. I breed dogs. I'll give you $300 for the dog. That's what he offered you for the dog. According to you, you said, I'm not going to take that. And then, according to you, you say he said to you, well, I'll give you $300 and I'll give you 2 puppies from a litter and the pick of litter from the first litter that they have because I'm going to breed Ebony, your dog, with my Rottweiler. And that's what this case is about. You're suing him for $1,600 for a dog that you paid $400 for that was aggressive. And he says, no way. I gave him $300 for the dog and offered him a puppy from the next litter if he wanted a puppy from the next litter. So you actually bred the dogs, which I think is probably a stupid thing to do because if you have a dog, did he explain to you he was selling the dog because it had become aggressive?
No, not like that.
Is it an aggressive dog?
No, ma'am.
Not. So it was just aggressive in their home.
Exactly.
So the dog clearly, maybe it's a female dog, so maybe it liked him, didn't like the competition of the wife. You never know, you know, people. But the dog is fine in your home.
It was fine in my home. Yes, ma'am.
Great. So you bred the 2 dogs, even though one didn't have papers and yours did.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know.
Because then you have to sell those puppies without papers.
Right.
By the way, why would you do that?
Well, it's a hobby of mine.
Okay, so how much did you sell the 7 puppy or whatever number of puppies that you actually sold? How much did you sell them
Well, y'all know what happened was I didn't even get a chance to sell them because during the time of all this with Mr. Taylor, my mother had cancer and she took sick, so I had to alleviate anything that was, you know, at the time that was in the way of that. So what I did was I did sell my full-blooded Rottweiler for only $200. And because, like I said, they're older. And I gave away, it was a package deal. It was a deal that I had to The guy that bought him, he lived in Waco. I sold it on Craigslist. And after that, he took, and I'm like, he knew what was going on with me, so he took the dogs to his home. And he only gave me $200. And I only sold one puppy. And the rest of them I ended up having to give away to friends and relatives and neighbors that was around me.
Well, if you gave them away, Mr. Gray, why didn't you give 2 to the plaintiff?
I couldn't even get in contact with him anymore. He got upset with me because I wouldn't kind of just start changing.
Just a second. You had promised him,
Yes,
according
ma'am.
to you, 1 puppy from the litter.
Yes, ma'am.
When was the litter born?
The little was born in January.
And when did you notify him that the litter...
In January. We stayed in contact with each other. I never went away from him, anything like that.
So you notified him in January?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I want you to tell me what you offered him in January.
In February, because they were still going. In February, I told him, because he was so nonchalant about it and didn't think he wanted the puppy anymore, I said, well, you can just still come get a puppy if you want. You can come get a female puppy. And that's when his countenance changed.
What did he want?
He wanted 2 puppies. I was like, that's nonsense. We didn't agree to that. I tell her, if I would agree to that, I wouldn't have been out of my mind. I didn't agree to that.
Okay. So you do acknowledge the fact that you owe him 1 puppy. You owed him 1 puppy from this litter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me, Mr. Taylor, where does that come to $1,600?
So, first of all,
Just tell me where 2 puppies comes to $1,600 is my question.
Ebony comes from a good bloodline. She's very healthy. Her mom was very healthy, so there's value in her history.
There's no value in her history. She's not an AKC registered puppy, and you paid $400 for her. I want you to tell me where $1,600 comes from.
Again,
Just a second. Even if I would believe your story that he paid you $300, I still want you to tell me, if I believe that, where you get $1,600 from.
Ebony, I had a lot of time and money invested in Ebony. Ebony was very healthy, and she was, I was working on getting her service dog certification, which she would have had a certification.
Are you out of your mind, Mr. Taylor?
No, I'm not, ma'am.
You just told me that you were getting rid of the dog because the dog had become aggressive towards your wife. And you want to get this dog certified as a service dog for somebody who is incapacitated? What, are you out of your mind?
She was not aggressive towards my wife. She was disobedient.
Yeah, okay, great. Keep moving.
So...
Keep moving. I'm not buying. So keep moving. Come up with a better story.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where do you get $1,600 from? You paid $400 for your dog that you subsequently sold for $300. As far as I'm concerned, that was a dog that you put an ad and say, I'm looking for a good home for my 18-month-old Rottweiler.
And later today...
You say she was hired to be your publicist.
Correct.
How much were you going to pay her?
We weren't. This was totally a pro bono.
That's not pro bono.
Well, it was totally agreed.
Listen to me. I don't believe you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Philip Taylor says 2 Rottweiler puppies.
Now, where do you get $1,600 from?
Rottweilers bring that price, ma'am, for puppies.
Okay. You paid $400 for your dog.
Yes.
That you subsequently sold for $300. That's a difference of $100. That's my rudimentary math, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So your dog was devalued. As far as I'm concerned, that was a dog that you put an ad and say, I'm looking for a good home for my 18-month-old Rottweiler. Instead, you got $300 for the dog. But Mr. Gray says he did, in fact, promise you a puppy. $300 and 1 puppy. So you paid $400 for your puppy, and that's what you're going to get, $400. Case is over. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This is a fair one.
It was not a fair one.
Guess he had buyer's, selling remorse or something.
I had buyer's remorse when I figured out that he was not going to honor the original agreement.
Get it in writing. Get it in writing.
Like the shyster said, get everything in writing.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bashir versus Fischetti. Step forward.
Julianne Bashir is suing her former business associate, Christine Fischetti, for unpaid wages, harassment, and for ruining her business.
A little confusing, so I'm going to try to see if I get it right. The defendant hired you to do some work for her on a magazine?
Yes, Your Honor.
On a magazine that she was creating?
Well, it originally started that...
She hired you to work on a magazine?
No, not in the start. The magazine was not in the equation from the beginning. I was hired to do flyers and promotional social work for Mrs. Fischetti.
Flyers and promotional social work for what?
Her management company, she managed artists, and it was to basically talk about what her service was, what she offered, what she did.
Okay. So far, is that correct?
So far, she...
So far. And then it morphed into something else?
Yes.
It morphed into a magazine that had its basis in the work that she did?
Yes.
No. Publicist. She offered to be my publicist.
Okay. Were you intending to create a magazine?
She offered to make a magazine.
No.
I wasn't intending, no.
So you had no intention of doing a magazine. So you hired her just to be a publicist for the work that you do. You manage artists.
Correct.
What kind of artists?
Musicians, entertainers, to help build my brand.
As an agent?
As a consultant.
A consultant to do what?
To help artists that, pro bono, to help them get ahead and be heard.
How?
Because I have connections.
From what?
From the movie industry, the music industry, the radio, FM radio, a lot of them, until I was sabotaged.
How many clients did you have?
I would say 300 in total I have helped.
Oh, and is that how you make your living?
No, I do pro bono work, so it's not how I make
what?
a living. For the artists.
How do you make a living?
My husband.
So you do not have any income outside of your husband's income?
Besides, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and I get disability.
Okay. What this case is about from your end is for money that she owes you for work that she did. Did you
Yes.
have a written contract with her?
No, it was a verbal.
So you didn't have a written, the answer
and
is
it's
no.
an email where she promised to pay me for the work.
I'd like to see it.
Including the work that I did.
Okay. Well, but this doesn't say how much. This doesn't say when. There's no indication here. So this is not a contract.
Well, no, because I trusted what she was saying.
Trust.
So
Listen, a contract need not be in writing. A contract can be oral.
Okay.
But a contract has to have its terms with specificity if you wish to have it enforced. Now I would like to know what and when and what were the terms of your alleged oral.
To me as a company. That means she was a registered company, okay? She also presented herself as being
I don't care how she
trademarked.
presented herself. That's your perception. I
Okay.
want to know what the contract was.
The agreement was that she would pay me for the marketing material that I did for her and her signed artist that she told me she had, which I did.
How much?
$60 a flyer.
And how many flyers did you do?
There's about 10
Not
or
about.
11.
This is court.
10 or 11.
Well, 10 or 11 is not an answer.
10.
So that's $600. Did she pay you any of that money?
No.
Okay.
She always
So-
had an excuse why she
Just a
couldn't.
second. That's the work you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. You say she was hired to be your publicist.
Correct.
How much were you going to pay her?
We weren't. This was totally a pro bono.
That's not pro bono.
Well,
no,
it was totally
no.
agreed.
Listen to me. Listen
She
to
knew
me.
from the beginning.
Listen to me. I don't believe you.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
Well, if I'm not making any money, how would I pay her?
Just a second. That would be your problem. If she reached out to you and she's a stranger, and you may have this interest in the music industry and don't have to be employed because somebody else supports, because your husband supports you and you get disability, that has nothing to do with her. So if you tell me, if you want me to believe...
I do, Your Honor.
Do you? Then you owe her $600. I don't believe you.
Judge Judy continues.
Telling them about how I'm wanted by the FBI for identity theft.
Where did you get that information?
I have no idea who wrote that. I do know that my emails were looped back and forth to her
Listen,
own.
I'm not listening to you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Julianne Bashir says former business associate Christine Fischetti owes for unpaid wages, harassment, and for ruining her business. Christine is countersuing for identity theft and harassment.
Okay, money owed for unpaid wages. That takes care of that part of your lawsuit,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Great. Maliciously ruining of business and punitive damages for harassment and threats to the family. All right. Did you ever file for a protective order against her?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see a copy of that. This is sort of useless. Did you have a hearing?
Every time I went, she hadn't been served for whatever reason.
Okay. Would you return this to her, please? Now I want you to tell me about the malicious ruining of your business. What business?
I started a magazine on my own well after
Magazine about what?
indie artists, whether it be producers, actresses, songwriters, musicians.
Okay.
You know.
This started around the end of last year, the beginning of this year.
Yes.
In the year 2014, what kind of work did you do?
I did PR work for my father, for his race team.
What kind of race team?
What they call the Dirt Series.
Car racing.
Yes.
So you had no prior nexus to the music industry until you met the defendant?
Yes.
You had no prior knowledge of anything to do with her business until you met her? Okay, I'm just getting it. Now I want you to tell me how she maliciously maligned your business, the magazine that you created.
Okay, the magazine that I started, she would reach out to people and tell them things that were not true about me, that
Right,
I was fake.
You can't say that. That's hearsay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then she
anything
would
else?
post on social media.
Okay, we'll take a look and see what she posted on social media. Did she say on social media that you stole her ideas?
No, it was more character assassination.
I'd
that
like to see it.
There was no moral
I'd like,
lines.
just a second, I'd see it. What is this?
It's where she's on there with a group of people telling them about. She's encouraging them all to go after me because I'm conning everybody on the internet, that I'm not, all those pictures on the internet are not me, even down to I'm a terrorist, and that I've been under an investigation by the FBI for I don't even know how long.
Where did you get that information?
I have no idea who wrote that. I do know that my account was hacked. My emails were looped back and forth to her
Listen,
own.
I'm not listening to you right now. Right now, we're not finished with her. She owes you $600 for your work. Now, because that's what you promised to pay her. I'm going to deal with your quick counterclaim for identity theft plus punitive damages for harassment and bullying. By the way, I actually think that it's, you know, there's nothing illegal, Ms. Bashir, in working for somebody and then stealing their idea. But it's certainly tacky, which is exactly what you did. You took the information that you got while you were working with her and you said, gee, that's a really good idea. I can take that and put it in a magazine, which is the reason that she's annoyed. But I don't know why you're annoyed, because according to you, you do this pro bono, because you're on disability, so you can't make any money, and your husband supports you. So I don't know why you're getting hysterical.
Because, Your Honor, she's not doing it for the right reasons. She's not getting artists to the door, to where they need to be. She's taking their money.
Listen, you're not the world's mommy.
Judge Judy to buy. Want justice? Go to JudgeJudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. You have proof?
Your Honor.
Put your hand down. I'm finished with you. $600 is what you worked for. You're entitled to be paid. I don't believe her when she says that you were supposed to be working pro bono. There's no reason for it. You may have been skulking around the internet to try to find a project, but you're entitled to be paid, and I believe you when you say you had an arrangement that she was going to pay you, and she didn't. You have a counterclaim, money owed for identity theft plus punitive damages, harassment, and bullying. Give me the worst example of bullying. The worst.
Here you go.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $600. The counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
All you are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Julian Bashir stole all of my ideas.
She lied about everything.
She never worked with artists before until she came into my world.
She's never worked in the entertainment industry. Anything from her.
She's defaming me.
She's posted everywhere that me and my family are terrorists.
Leave me alone.
The biggest mistake.
It was the biggest mistake I ever made, meeting someone on LinkedIn and trusting them.
There's no limits to where she wouldn't go.
The two of you were dating and decided to switch cars.
Exes drive each other away.
When I got it returned to me, it had that dent on the side of the door. She told me she had no idea how it got there.
There was no damage to it. I did not get in any accident.
That it was his turn with her vehicle.
So you damaged the front end of the car.
There was minor aesthetic damage to the front end of the car, yes.
Your Honor, I have a photo of it right here. It's not just minor aesthetic damage.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 22-year-old Lainey Rupp is suing her ex-boyfriend, 24-year-old Alexander Muriera, for damaging her car while he was borrowing it.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 609 on the calendar in the matter of Rupp versus Mariera.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Why don't you folks have a seat, please?
Miss Rupp, the couple.
We have been together as a couple for a year, and we dated for 6 months long distance.
And when you were a couple for a year, where were you living?
I was living at home in Denver, Colorado.
Was that with your family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where are you living now?
Still at home with my family.
And where does the defendant live?
Just down the street in Denver, Colorado as well.
Down the street from where your family lives?
Same neighborhood, or adjacent neighborhoods.
And who does he live with?
3 other roommates.
And how long has he lived there?
Just moved in recently, I would say approximately 2 months.
And prior to that, where was he living?
He was living in Aurora, Colorado, approximately 30 minutes away from my home.
And so 2 months ago, he moved a block away. Was that before or after the fight that you had?
This was after
That's
the
very
fight.
easy. That was after the fight.
Yes.
This is what this case is about. I love it. It's like shooting ducks in a
Gallery.
pond. Ducks in a gallery. Whatever. There's nothing wrong with you, right?
No, not at all.
You don't have any psychiatric conditions?
No. No, ma'am.
Not taking any psychotropic medication?
No, ma'am.
So there would be no reason that a normal person, after they had this violent fight that you're alleging with the windshield, and she broke your car, with all that stuff, that you would move a block away from her?
I think the timeline is a little,
No, just a minute. This all happened within the last 8 weeks. So what I'm suggesting to you is, at my age, even I can recall what happened
Definitely.
in the last 8 weeks. I asked her some very specific questions. She may not be as quick as you are, but she gave me the answer. And the answer was that you moved in a block away from her after you had this violent fight with her that you have a counterclaim about. So that's why I asked you whether you had any psychiatric history. Because Colorado is a big state, lots of places to live, and only a nut would move a block away from where her family lives after a big fight. So now we're going to get to the case. Got what I'm saying?
If I could make a clarification?
Sure.
All right. I believe that the timeline is a little messed up. The first incident happened before I moved. The second incident happened afterwards. So
what first incident?
The dispute about her vehicle.
I don't care about the dispute about her vehicle. Listen, I'm going to read to you your counterclaim.
Yes.
The night we broke up on February 6th, she was screaming at the top of her lungs. Then she took her cell phone and threw it at my windshield, causing it to crack.
Yes.
All I wanted to know, allegedly, broke up.
Yes. I moved into my home on January 1st at the beginning of the new year, and that happened after that.
She said it didn't happen after that. Were you mistaken?
I said he had moved in, and then the incident happened outside of his new house. And he's the one that punched the hole in the windshield. I don't know where he's getting these accusations saying that I threw the phone.
Fine. It was not my understanding of what you said. I said, did he move in before or after this big argument? And you said that he moved in after. I think that's what she said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was referring to the damage to the vehicle, because we had two serious
no, we weren't
arguments.
talking about the damage to the vehicle. The damage to the vehicle didn't cause that much of a kerfuffle. The date of the damage to the vehicle was what?
Christmas Eve, 2015.
Right. Did you have a big argument that night?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is what the case is about. Now that I've piqued, I hope, anybody's interest in what this case is about, the two of you were dating and decided to switch cars. For whatever reason, I don't care. At some point, Mr. Muriera?
That's perfect.
Mr. Muriera said at some point, you caused a dent in his car. To the where?
The driver's side door.
Driver's side door. Somebody hit the car? Is that what happened?
I did not cause that damage to his
vehicle. I didn't ask whether you caused it. I said, did somebody hit the car?
I would infer that somebody hit the car if there's a dent.
Of his car, did somebody hit the car, causing a dent?
No, not when I had possession with his car.
Were you driving it at that time?
I was driving at the time, and there was no damage to it. I did not get in any accident.
When did this damage happen with your car?
The damage happened before the incident with her vehicle.
How much before?
About 2 or 3 months.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, I had borrowed her my car like I had before.
You didn't borrow her your car. You loaned her your car.
I loaned her my car.
Take a look at my eyes, sir. if you try to avert your eyes when you're telling me a story, I know that the story is not true. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
So right here, if you go like this and take the hair away, then I can actually... No, don't go like this. Go like this.
One of these?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
No, it's not better.
So it happened about 2 months before the incident with her Jeep. I loaned her my vehicle, and when I got it returned to me, it had that dent on the side of the door. I'm not aware of how it happened.
Did you ask her about it?
I did.
And what did she say?
She told me she had no idea how it got there, and I wasn't looking to cause an argument or cause any stress over it. It was purely aesthetic, so at the time, I let it go. And it wasn't until later, when she's starting to accuse me of damaging her vehicle, that it got brought up again.
Well, you did damage her vehicle.
And on Christmas Eve I was driving, and she had loaned me her vehicle because I had loaned her my vehicle, and I still needed to get around. I was very much so against the idea.
How long were you driving her car?
I drove it to work, and then back home, and then to kind of work. I also street perform, and so on the day that she saw her vehicle the next day, it was still running perfectly fine. I was using it, and I drove with my witness back to her home, and that's when she saw the damage to her vehicle. And
well, how did the damage happen?
So originally, she had...
Not originally. Just tell me how the accident happened.
She had loaned my vehicle to go to Fort Collins.
No, she borrowed your vehicle.
She borrowed my vehicle, sorry, to go to Fort Collins, and I used hers in the meantime. And
just tell me how the accident happened with her car.
I was driving on Highway 70, and I believe it's a four-wheel vehicle drive, and I made sure that
Don't tell me what you made sure. Just tell me you were driving and...
I was driving, and somebody cut me off. The roads were in an icy condition, so me believing the car was in four-wheel drive like I had asked her previous to that.
Listen to me. I know the script that you have in here and that you have in your own head. You're going to tell me what I need to know is what you're telling me. You were driving the car.
I was driving the car.
And you
somebody
spun
cut
out
me
of
off
control.
And avoid them to avoid damage to her vehicle, avoid damage to me.
You tried to avoid them, and...
I tried to avoid them, and the vehicle spun out of control.
And?
It did a 360 on the highway, and to try and avoid hurting anybody else, getting into collision with other vehicles, I managed to pull it into the median.
So you damaged the front end of the car?
There was a minor aesthetic damage to the front end of the car, yes.
Your Honor, I have a photo of it right here. It's not just minor aesthetic damage. He severely messed up the wheel well, if you would like to take a look.
I see it from here.
Yes, and so the wheel, anytime it would be driving in motion, it rubs up against that.
I see it.
Causing a lot of odd noises.
I see it. Put it down. So?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We don't have enough judicial manpower to deal with people who are living together to deal with this. And if it ends in a bad argument, it ends in a bad argument. That's it. It's over.
And later today...
If you say I sent them the wrong dune buggy, my bad. They used it, and then they told me they didn't want it. When they sent it back to me, it was broken. That's what a legitimate defense might be. But don't be shifty.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lainey Ruther owes for crashing her car. Alexander has a countersuit, claiming Lainey vandalized his vehicle.
Okay, you had this argument with the windshield on February 6th, according to you, right? Where did you go New Year's Eve with him?
Colorado Convention Center for a concert.
And where did you go after the concert?
Back to his house.
And you stayed the night?
Yes.
And did you stay the next day?
Yes.
That's January 1st. And what about the remainder of the week? How many nights a week did you stay at the defendant's house, and how many nights a week did you stay at your house?
It was pretty mixed. We generally would like to spend the night together, but other times I would go home because we have foreign exchange students living with us, and I have a responsibility to drive them to and from school.
Nice. Did you fix your car?
No, not yet.
Did you fix your car?
No.
Fix each other's cars. You think that I'm going to be bothered with this? That a court is going to be bothered with this? After he allegedly had this accident, you weren't so mad that you didn't go out, spend the night, spend the next month out. And if I believe you that you're not still together, if I believe that, which is iffy. But let us assume that what you tell me is accurate, that after February 6th and you had this kerfuffle where she threw her cell phone at your window and didn't break the phone.
No, it didn't.
Just your windshield.
They make foam cases pretty solid nowadays.
No, she just broke my windshield.
Yes, she just broke my windshield.
And since that day, you haven't seen each other.
No, ma'am.
Did you have your windshield fixed?
I have not yet.
And did you have the side of your car fixed?
No, ma'am.
And she didn't have her car fixed, right? You didn't have your car fixed. I suggest you both have your cars fixed, and since neither of you had collision insurance, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. You were a couple. You were dating. Two of you decided to switch cars. You're each responsible for what happens. So you're responsible for your car. He's responsible for his car. And if you want some insurance company to be responsible for your cars, you get collision insurance.
I don't believe I'm responsible insurance-wise for the damage to my vehicle because it wasn't being loaned to her. She was not driving the vehicle. In fact, it was committed in an act of anger. And I believe that that entitles me to compensation.
Yeah, it's not happening. Just like it's not happening that you're fixing her whole car. Do you understand?
I do not.
Well, I just explained it to you. We don't have enough judicial manpower to deal with people who are living together in your house a block away from where her family was, where she spent most of her time to deal with this. And if it ends in a bad argument, it ends in a bad argument. That's it. Spun out because you were probably going too fast, spun out in a bad snowstorm in her car. I'm not going to tell you have to fix her car. Just like, and she really didn't expect you to fix her car. Because if she really was so angry at you, you wouldn't have continued this ongoing liaison that probably still exists today. You're still living a block away?
It's
I just asked
more
you,
than a block.
It's 2 blocks.
It's a 10-minute drive.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He promised he would pay for the damage to my vehicle.
I don't understand why she says that we talked about her vehicle a lot because it didn't come up very often.
There's no way I could have thrown my phone and made that much damage.
She started throwing quite literally a tantrum, which ended in her throwing her phone at my windshield.
We don't talk anymore.
There is no relationship. Yeah.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rowland versus Spears, step forward.
Elizabeth and Sean Rowland are suing Thomas Spires for selling them a defective dune buggy.
Mr. and Mrs. Rowland, you want your money back from the defendant for a dune buggy that you purchased from him.
Correct.
Said it wasn't what you ordered, you sent it back, and you want your money back. Mr. Spires says that you sent it back, but you sent it back, and clearly you had used it and broken it, and he's got a counterclaim, and he's got a counterclaim for defamation, a bunch of other things, and for a dune buggy, because he said in order to resell it, he had to fix it. Is that your business, sir, dune buggies, or are you just an intermediary?
No, we're an online company, e-commerce, so we sell buggies and dirt bikes and scooters and ATVs and ship all over the United States.
But you don't actually have a store.
No, I have a store.
Okay.
I have 2
so
stores.
The dune buggy that the Rowlands purchased from you was in your store?
A floor model, yes.
Then I was confused.
We were not told it was a floor model.
Because your answer says, the plaintiff contacted me and showed interest in buying an all-terrain buggy from me. I agreed to find them what they were looking for. That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's different from I have that in my store and it's a floor model. Do you understand?
No, I understand.
So you understand my confusion.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is the color, you're looking confused at me. I'm speaking English. English is your primary language, right? Is the color the only difference? Don't look at me confused. I've seen that confused look on a lot of people who lie to me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Elizabeth and Sean Rowland over the sale of a dune buggy. Thomas is countersuing for shipping fees, repair costs, and slander.
Okay, I want to see the correspondence where the defendant either told you that he had a floor model of exactly what you were looking for.
He was never forced.
Or that he said, I agreed to find them what they were looking for. And you can look for your emails, too.
We had a phone conversation, Your Honor, not an email.
Is that correct?
Yes. Originally, when we contacted Mr. Spears, we told him that we had seen what we wanted on the internet and that we wanted to purchase it from him. I did let him know that I was a little leery about doing such a large purchase online. I also asked him briefly, you know, I was kind of confused. I said, does it come assembled?
Shh. Okay. Tell me what this means. Elizabeth, I found the buggy. It got shipped to Kansas. What does that mean, sir?
Well, during December, we were shipping so many units. We ship out 30, 40 units a day. So mistakes happen. And so their buggy was going to another place, and another buggy went another place. So
is what you're telling me that they were shipped a different buggy from the one that they wanted because there was a mistake? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Were they shipped a different one? Mr. Spears, I'm going to end the case right now, including your counterclaim. That's either a yes or a no. Were they initially shipped the wrong dune buggy? That's a yes. And I want you to tell me what the differences were in the dune buggy they were shipped and the one that they wanted. You tell me the difference.
the color, I had a conversation with them, and I told them
No, just a second. What color did they order?
they wanted orange.
And what color was sent to them?
Red, because they agreed to take the red over the phone.
No, we did not. That's
Just a second.
lie.
Just a second.
No, it's not.
So far, sir, you're being a little disingenuous with me. And I don't like to use the word shifty yet, but they ordered an orange dune buggy. That's what they told you that they wanted. You started to tell me before, this is what happened. If you say I sent them the wrong dune buggy, my bad. They agreed to accept it. They used it. And then they told me they didn't want it.
We never used it.
Shh. And then they sent it back to me. When they sent it back to me, it was broken. That's what a legitimate defense might be. But don't be shifty. You sent them something that they didn't order. And how much were you spending?
$4,920.94.
If I was spending $5 grand on a big ticket item, this is the color of difference in the dune buggy that they ordered and the dune buggy that you sent to them.
No.
Shh. I'm asking him, is the color... You're looking confused at me. I'm speaking English. English is your primary language, right? And
Yes.
I'm hard of hearing, so don't go like this to me because I don't feel sorry for you. I'm the one that's hard of hearing.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, is the color the only difference in the dune buggy that you sent to them and the dune buggy that they ordered?
No.
What were the other differences?
The two side panels.
So, in addition to the two side panels and the color, were there any other differences?
No, ma'am.
Yes, there were, because you started out by telling me a floor model. So what happened was you don't look at me confused. I've seen that confused look on a lot of people who lied to me. You sent their orange one, if you ever had one, to somebody else, if I believe that. But you had a red one that was a floor model. Show me anywhere where you ever said to them you were sending them, now have the dune buggy back.
Correct.
Great. $4,920.94.
$20.94.
Judgment for the plaintiff. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Some get clever.
What's the story? I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Others get hostile.
I want to tell you what happened.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart.
I sent them a settlement letter stating that I'll give them $4,500 and call it a day. They wanted to take it to court to get the extra $400.
I paid $4,920.94, not $4,500.
Have people sign affidavits with the driver. That way we don't have any problems further.
I knew that she would see him for the person he was, which is a liar.
Drivers park side by side.
Did your car door hit her car?
It touched it.
I would have been very annoyed.
Then they went toe to toe.
She proceeded to put her hand on my throat to choke me. She reached out and just started putting her hands on my neck. You'll see in the video if it hasn't been altered.
And after the police viewed this, they took you into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lori Hanson is suing Georgette Davenport for medical bills and property damage due to an assault.
Order. All rise. That's case number 95 on the calendar, the matter of Hanson versus Davenport.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat. Huh?
You were parked in a parking lot, and Miss Hanson pulled in her car into the parking lot, and an altercation ensued between the two of you. It is your claim that the defendant assaulted you during the course of that altercation. Fortunately, we have, I see, the screen up so that there must have been surveillance.
Yes.
Am I correct that you were sitting in your car when she pulled up?
Yes.
And a reading of the complaint and answer suggests that she pulled up close to your car.
Correct.
And when she got out of her car door hit your car.
Yes.
How many times?
Once initially when she first opened the door, and then once she proceeded to get out of the car door is rubbing on my car now because she's squeezing to get out. And once she got out, that's when I proceeded to get out, and I noticed that...
Okay, you got out of the car to a...
Noticed that the dent wasn't that bad, it was just like a smudge. So I asked her...
Now, what did you... Not asked her.
Okay.
What did you say?
Why didn't you back your car up, reverse, and move a little to the right? Because there was plenty of more room.
Is that what you said to her? And I want you to tell me, I mean, you know, I would have been very annoyed if somebody banged into my car when they weren't paying attention to what they were doing and just being selfish by pulling up too close to your car and trying to get out of the car. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So I wouldn't have said, you know, you really could have moved a little over to the left. It's a good thing it wasn't my husband. It would have been a lot worse.
Right.
But it might have started out with something like, what are you, an idiot? Why didn't you pull closer to the other side? What are you trying to squeeze out of this 6-inch space for? So now I want you to tell me what you said to her when you walked out.
Once I initially noticed...
That it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad. It still was annoying that you still tried to squeeze out. So I asked, why didn't you just reverse the car and move a little to the right?
Is that what you... the way you
That's
said?
exactly what I said.
Good. And what did she say to you?
Instantly, the response was, you don't see the line, indicating since she wasn't over the line.
That she wasn't over the line, she was just close to it.
But this much space.
No, I got it. A whole drill.
So, you know, I told her, you know, you don't have to talk to me like that. I asked you a simple question, and she started to proceed to walk up to me and told me, don't talk to me. Her fingers were this close to my face. I kindly pushed her hand down and told her, you need to back up. You know, you don't know me like that. You need to calm down. We exchanged a few words. I tried to walk past her. She proceeded to put her hand on my throat to choke me. And that's when I just had to let loose.
Okay. And that video is going to show me what happened.
Yes, and I have the video right here.
Good. Now I'm going to start with Miss Hanson.
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you park too close to her car?
It was a very tight space. And
Did you park too close to her car?
No.
Okay. When you got out of your car, did your car door hit her car?
It touched it.
Then that was wrong. Then it was too close to her car. Now, a small person may have been able to get out, but you're not a small person.
Correct.
So when you got out of the car and opened the door, it hit her property.
Yes, it
That
did.
was the wrong thing to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
You did it anyway. Now, you got out and she got out of her car. And said to you...
Don't you know how to park a car?
Okay. And you said to her...
I turned to her and I said, listen. And I said, it was clear that she was still getting out of her car and running towards me, and I just wanted to get away. So I walked behind my car, and she was continuing to insult me because of my weight. And at that point, I made a motion with my hand like, and walked away. And then she got my attention, and I did a 180 and turned back towards her. And I didn't want to deal with her, so I was trying to get away. And then she reached out and just started putting her hands on my neck. And she was strangling me. And you'll see in the video, if it hasn't been altered, that I was doing this.
I'd like to see the video.
Because I just froze.
Bird, you know, I'm going to get down off the bench.
And I also was knocked twice in the face to the ground, on my flat on my back.
Listen, I have eyes.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
We may have to play this a couple of times.
Okay.
Which car is the...
I'm the white car.
Okay. Start that again. Go back. I want to see that again. Well, what I see is the person in white, that's you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hit her first.
No, ma'am. She actually was strangling me.
That's not what I see. Sorry. Sorry. I don't see her strangling you.
That's
on the
because
side.
of- that
I don't
is
see her
because
strangling
of
you on the side.
The video.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the angle of the camera that doesn't show it, but I can tell you that her fingers are long and slim and very soft and cold because they were around my neck.
What I saw.
I understand that.
I understand.
But I
now,
don't know what I experienced.
I know what you experienced. And the police also viewed this. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. And after the police viewed this, they took you into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Not her.
Police report.
I'd like to see it.
I have the police report. I have medical records.
I'm not interested in your medical records. We're not there. What's the difference
Okay.
if there are medical records? If you
Well-
had medical records, if it was your fault?
She broke my phone. She knocked it out of my hands.
Just a second.
After
Just a second. We'll get to the phone in a
Okay.
second because that's maybe the only thing.
She
That's
knocked it out of my hands.
I don't care.
Well, I did.
Listen to me. You hit her first.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Well, that's what that shows. And that's why the police
I
arrested you.
respectfully disagree.
You can respectfully disagree all you like. That's why the police arrested you, and that's what I saw. Hansen was found to be the aggressor by several witnesses and Davenport. And that. Now, why did you take her phone?
She was walking up to me, telling me I need to be still. She wants pictures of me. I didn't give anyone permission to take pictures of me. I asked her to stop. She kept running up on me after the altercation, so, you know, feelings are already, like, all over the place. She would not stop walking up to me in my space, so I took the phone out of her hand.
Okay, you can't do that.
Well, I ended up giving it back while I was on the phone making
Well, you didn't give it back.
No.
Well, I put it on the hood of the car.
On the hood of what car?
On the hood of her car. Because after she started chasing me around the parking lot, while I was on the phone with the police, they told me, give her phone back. You cannot do that. So I put it on the hood.
We're in separate places all over the parking lot. So I did have to hobble over and grab these different parts to put them back together. I also should point out...
Don't point at anything. I'm reading the police report.
I use a cane.
She didn't
most
need
of the
that
time.
cane when
Just
she
a
was
second.
attacking me.
You weren't using a cane there.
Exactly.
You're correct. There are times when I do not use it.
I'm not interested, actually.
I can appreciate
I'm
that,
not,
but...
I'm not interested, and I told you once before. I'm reading the police report.
Okay. Here's my copy if you'd like it.
Of what?
My copy of the police report.
I'd like to see your copy of the police report, please.
Thank you. I also have the emergency room
I want
report.
to know why
and
the
photographs.
statements of the witnesses are deleted on both, actually, because the police officer said based upon the statements of the two witnesses and the security tape, they arrested you. It's just unusual to me that they would delete the witnesses' statements.
When I had picked it up, they said that if it's not my own statement, they can't show anyone else's.
Last thing the police officer said was, other than the witnesses' statements, Hansen stated she did not approach Davenport and that Davenport went to her. When I clarified with her in the video, it looks like she's already walking to that way and didn't want to walk around. I placed Hansen under arrest and placed her in the rear of the car. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why is excused? You may step out.
I was actually really embarrassed. I was upset that I had to fight an elderly lady.
While I saw that there was a confrontation, obviously,
I was upset that she attacked me for no reason.
I didn't see her throw the first punch.
I'm happy it's over.
They said there were several witnesses.
Because I honestly don't understand why this lady is still pushing the issue
That isn't what I saw.
when she caused all this mayhem.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Massey versus Carter. Step forward.
Jean Massey is suing her former landlord, Teresa Carter, for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges.
How did you know the defendant?
She worked at a daycare that my children attend. Her daughter owns the daycare.
Okay, so she worked for her daughter.
Yes.
You were being evicted from your last residence or had to relocate very quickly. Miss Carter agreed to let you and your children, you have 3 children?
Yes.
Move into her home.
She called me and offered me to move in. Yes, ma'am.
And that you would pay rent.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you move into the house?
I placed my belongings in her garage on February 20. I had actually been taken upstairs to the rooms, but the rest of my stuff was placed in the garage.
So some stuff was already in the room. How many rooms were you renting?
2.
And what was the rent?
The initial offer was for $500, but shortly after it was $600, and that wasn't a far jump, so I agreed.
When did you give her the $600?
I gave her $694 the day before, February 26th, and that's when she had given me the keys.
When did you physically go into the house?
February 27th.
Okay, this is what happened.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, I called and told her that I was just going to come get my stuff.
And your money?
Yes, and my money. And she informed me that I was not getting my money back.
Then you called the police?
She told me to call the police.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jean Massey says former landlord Teresa Carter owes for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges. Teresa is countersuing for vandalism to her garage door.
Now, you got there, you're all settled in. She tells you you can't stay, you have to leave.
Not settled, no.
The next day?
No. February 27th, I got my stuff in. As I said, she was charging me $600. I had already had 2 money orders, which equaled out. So instead of giving that money to the prior landlord, I gave it to Miss Carter. So that's why it was $94 over.
Just a second. How much money did you receive from Miss Massey?
$694.
Okay, go.
So as I'm getting things into the garage, she calls me upstairs. In my mind, I'm thinking maybe...
Don't tell me what you're thinking. She called you upstairs.
She calls me upstairs. You can't stay here. And so she decided that I should have been paying half of utilities and a security deposit. So I said, well, Miss Carter, let me drop this truck off. I'll work something out. Because at this point, Judge, I had nowhere else to go.
Okay.
So I was gonna really try to, come up with an extra couple of $100 a month, whatever. So I left to take the truck back. I had to go to the old place that I was living in. I had to clean that up so it wouldn't be any mess in there. Had to get my kids situated. So from the time I left, maybe about an hour later, 3 or 4 phone calls kept coming to my phone. Well, I'll let you stay for a month because you already paid. I said to Miss Carter, that's not gonna work because I need to save up money and time to find a new place. You already have my money. So, well, I'll call you back, I'll work something out. So then she called me back and she said, well, we'll just do a month to month.
So she called you back and she said, we'll do a month to month?
Yes.
And you said, no, that's not gonna work. What if she said, you're here already, you can stay for the month because you've already paid your rent?
Well, I just wanted her to understand that I needed some time to save up some more money.
Well, just a second. I don't understand what that means. Does that mean that when you moved into her house and you gave her the $694 for rent for the month, you didn't intend to pay her any more money?
No, I was going to pay her some more money once the new month occurred.
Okay, so what
So it would have been March.
So what you didn't want to pay her was a deposit.
No, I had no problem with the deposit.
But you...
What I had an issue with because she already changed her mind once.
It can't be a deposit and rent. Either the $694 was security deposit or the $694 was rent. What was it in your mind?
It was rent.
It was rent. And what was it in your mind?
It was rent, ma'am. I did not even charge her a deposit.
Oh, great. Terrific. And what was the last phone call you had with her or contact on the 27th?
So then she said, well, we gonna work something out. We'll see how it goes. It kept going back and forth between the month and the month to month. I decided at that point, I'm just not gonna go ahead with it. It was too confused. It was trouble already.
Okay, got it. And at some point, the police were called.
Well, I called and told her that I was just gonna come get my stuff and that...
And your money.
Yes, and my money, and that I'll go getting my money back.
Right. Then you called the police.
She told me to call the police.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You weren't arrested as a result of this.
No, I'm on felony. I would have went to jail. I'm on probation.
What I'm asking you is, you weren't arrested as a result of this. Tell me what happened as a result of her filing this warrant application.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jean Massey says former landlord Teresa Carter owes for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges. Teresa is countersuing for vandalism to her garage door.
Now, the police arrived, and this was on the 27th.
Yes.
And I've read the complaint clearly, and I've read your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
The complaint states that in front of a police officer, Miss Carter, you signed a note that you would return her rent.
I did, ma'am.
Good. I'd like to see that note. And you never did, in fact, move in and stay there?
No, no.
You have to give her money back.
Okay.
$694. I'm not interested in the fact that you felt intimidated. You had the police there.
Ma'am.
You have just a second.
Okay.
She's not finished with her claim.
Okay.
She says that you took out a criminal warrant, and she's suing for punitive damages for filing a false criminal warrant against her. So that's the rent. Now let me see the allegations in the criminal warrant, please.
She decided to do this on March 1st. Yes, ma'am.
You weren't arrested as a result of this.
No, I wasn't felony. I would have went to jail. I'm on probation.
What I'm asking you is, you weren't arrested as a result of this. Tell me what happened as a result of her filing this warrant application.
It was dismissed. She didn't even show up.
Can I see the dismissal,
Yes, ma'am.
please?
It was originally scheduled for April 7th, and in Georgia, they allow you to speak with the mediator first, because once you sit in front of a judge, that's the finalization of it. So the mediator advised.
Don't tell me.
Okay. It was rescheduled to May 26th because she had insufficient evidence.
5/26.
May 26th, she didn't even show up. Case was thrown out.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
It is clear that this was dismissed.
It was dismissed, Judge, Your Honor, because I had a doctor's appointment. I went down and asked the judge if I could reschedule this because I had a doctor's appointment. I wouldn't make it. And they dismissed it so that I could file a civil suit. And I felt I had better plan because of getting my money for my garage door that she had tore up.
Yeah. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $694. Your counterclaim for a broken garage door is dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
When cousin runs to cousin, family values go out the window.
She's a liar. She's a thief.
Do you take any medication?
No, I don't.
Try to control yourself.
Next Judge Judy.
No, she never moved in. She just had beer cans all on the side.
She kept changing the story. Like, it went from...
She had got evicted from her other apartment.
You can't move in.
I had sent her to an attorney to help her.
To a little bit, I knew it was going to be, that was a foreshadow of things to come.
So she wouldn't go back to jail.
I didn't beat on the garage door.
She tore my garage door up. She lied. I tried to help her.
No reports, no arrests, no nothing.
Just know from now on not to help her. I tried to help her and her children, not to help her. Help nobody anymore.
I'm happy. I didn't get everything I was sued for, but I got my money back.
Don't help them. Let them be outside, do whatever they got to do.
She wanted $2,500, and I said, Rebecca, that is ridiculous. What are you talking about?
When cousin rents to cousin.
She told you that she wanted you out in April?
It's all false. It's all false. It's all lies.
Family values go out the window.
Your Honor, I never got any rent. She's a liar. She's a thief.
Do you take any medication?
No, I don't.
Try to control yourself.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Rebecca Wasson is suing her cousin, Lisa Mitros, for unpaid rent, hotel fees, and loss of rental income.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom.
Yeah, that's case number 123 on the calendar in the matter of Wasson versus Mitros.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Mitros, I'm going to start with you. Miss Wasson is your cousin, and you have a family. Tell me, you have a husband?
My husband passed away, miss.
You have children?
Friend of mine.
A male friend or a female friend?
Male.
How long have you lived with this male friend?
4 years.
In your house?
His house.
Now, his house had a problem.
The house burnt down, Your Honor.
To the ground?
25% of the house was damaged.
Well, then it didn't burn down to the ground. 25% was damaged. And when did that happen?
That happened a week before Thanksgiving.
So mid-November?
A year ago.
2015. And the house was rendered at that point not livable. Couldn't live in the house while they were repairing it. I assume he was going to have it repaired. Is that correct? And your cousin, Miss Wasson, has a summer home that she rents in the summertime. Have you ever rented her summer home?
I rented her home in the rear, yes, I did, but not for a summer yearly rental when I was married.
The rear. And she offered you, because you were in a state of an emergency, to move on to that property, to the rear house or to the main house?
To the main house.
And you're renting the main house with your boyfriend?
Correct.
And you were paying her $1,000 a month rent?
That's correct.
And the idea was that this was an interim thing until the house was renovated from the fire. Correct. So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it came about that it was coming towards the summer in April, and your house was supposed to be finished by...
No.
When was the boyfriend's house supposed to be finished?
Sometime by the summer. There was no date. There was no time when it was going to be done. You can't have a time.
Yes, you can.
It's inspection.
Of course you have a time. Contractor goes in, built houses, renovated rooms. They say this renovation is going to take 6 months. This renovation is going to take 8 months. So they started to do your renovation, I assume, in November or December.
They didn't start for quite a while, but...
They were delayed.
Right, winter.
Well, they were delayed. Well, at some point, Miss Wasson said, listen, I have to start renting the house. I get $2,500 for the house. I read the complaint. I get $2,500 for the house for the summer. I rely on that for income. So the two of you got into it. You said, my house isn't ready, and I'm not ready to move out. And that was in April of 2016. So far, is that accurate? She told you that she wanted you out in April?
It's all false. It's all lies.
She never told you she wanted you either out or
Absolutely not. We discussed this in April. She said, no problem. It's not done. You can stay. You pay me the rent, you stay. But you have to be out by the end of May.
Okay.
And that's what transpired.
Okay.
That's not true.
Shh, just a second. In April, did you pay her rent?
Yes, I did.
How? No. Just stay right there. That's why I have Bird. I want to see April and May's rent. And what date did you leave in June?
May. June. I didn't leave June. I left May 28th. It was my last day in that house.
Well, I have a check here for April, but I don't have one for May.
Yeah, you do.
No, this is not a check for May. This is a check for $1,500.
Yeah,
May
which
11th.
we paid her for May. Because she wanted $2,500. And I said, Rebecca, that is ridiculous. You do not rent this front house. You stay in it in the summertime. What are you talking about? And the rents don't start till June.
Your Honor, I never got any rent for...
She's a liar. She's a thief.
Just a second. Who is Joseph?
That's my boyfriend, who pays the rent. And again, Your Honor, she is not even the homeowner.
Listen.
She is not the homeowner. Check her stuff. She is nothing to that house. The owner of that home is Edgar. She is not married to him. She is Rebecca Wasson. She's on that deed as Rebecca. There's no such person.
Hey, now I want you to uncross your arms and listen to me carefully. This crap that you gave me is not evidence. Hey, I'm talking. You have a check made out to cash that was cashed by your boyfriend.
Exactly.
You can make a check payable to cash, and she can cash it. You have a check made out to cash that's payable to your boyfriend. This check doesn't show who cashed it.
She wanted cash,
Okay.
And that's why she wanted cash.
Now, my question to you is, Miss Wasson.
Yes.
I got it. Listen to me. She moved in November or December?
She moved in November.
Okay. Did she pay you rent in November?
Yes, she did.
Did she pay you rent in December?
Yes, she did.
January?
Yes.
February?
Yes.
March?
No.
That's not true, Your Honor.
That's not what you actually say here.
Thank you.
If you say anything again, I'm going to give her exactly what she wants and throw you out. Do you understand?
November, December, January, February, March.
March. She stopped paying you in April.
April, yes.
That's according to you. It's
Yes.
according to your complaint.
Yes.
Now, when did you move to evict her?
I moved to evict her the middle of March. Wasn't it the middle of March?
March 1st.
I sent her a letter.
I have it right here.
I sent her a letter that she was supposed to be out by April.
May I see the letter, please?
Yes.
You have a copy of the letter. It's your letter.
Your Honor, I was never sent the letter.
I'm not asking you any questions now. I started with you.
Yeah. Where's that?
For the notice to quit.
Yeah.
I just want to see a copy of the letter that you sent her telling her you wanted her
I actually
and her boyfriend out. You were giving them a
There it
30-day
is.
notice.
Sorry, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay, so what you sent her was a letter saying that the police had been called 4 times to the property by the people who rented the rear house.
Yes.
Complaining about what was going on in their house.
Yes.
Disorderly conduct.
Yes.
Okay? The other part of it, I'm not interested that you had to stay at a hotel. I wouldn't know why you would want to stay with them to begin with if all this is going on in the
I had to
house.
stay in a
I wouldn't know why you would want to do that anyway. When did you serve them with a notice to leave? Because you didn't. This is a notice that says to them, you have to stop bad behavior. And if you don't stop bad behavior, you have to leave the premises. Well, then there has to be a follow-up eviction. Now, you started an eviction process when?
I started the eviction process in probably, let's see, I realized she wasn't going to move out, so I started it in May.
May 5th.
And I was afraid, yeah, May 5th, 2016.
May I see that, please? On what date do you claim they moved out?
The constable sent me a letter and said that I couldn't go back into the house until June 9th.
May I see that, please?
Yes.
Did you, in fact, go in on the 1st of June?
No, I didn't go in until June 9th.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor. There was one thing I wanted to say. Excuse me. When we did the eviction, you can do an eviction for 1 or 2 reasons.
What's your last name?
Francine Simon.
She is a nobody. She has nothing to do with this case. She was not there. She was not witness.
I don't want to hear you. Are you an alcoholic?
No, I'm not.
Are you a drug
for sure.
abuser?
No,
Are you
I'm
a drug
not.
abuser?
No,
Do you
I'm
take
not.
any medication?
No, I don't.
Then what I'm going to suggest is try to control yourself.
I own McNeely Property Management, and I am her property manager for the last 4 or 5 years. I was unaware that she allowed her cousin to move in with her because she occupied the house. But then when everything unraveled, she had a choice. She could sue her for do an eviction for non-payment of rent or an eviction for a notice case, which is what we did. And the reason we did that was because the tenant in the back was...
You can't tell me that. That's hearsay.
But
Thank you very much.
What I'm telling you is that's why we did the notice case instead of a notice to quit because of non-payment of rent. You can't...
I understand. Listen to me. I've been doing this now for 20 years. They had paid their rent. You couldn't sue them, evict them for non-payment of rent because they paid their rent through March. They did not pay April and May. According to my satisfaction, there's no proof that they paid April and May's rent to my satisfaction. And in April and May, the rent was $1,000.
No, April and May, they were not supposed to be there.
I
in
understand.
April.
Did you get renters, by the way?
No.
Did they come into the main house? Do you now have renters there?
I don't have renters there, either in the cottage or the front house.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's what you're owed for April and May. We're done. Thank you.
Why is that excused? You may step out.
I'm very upset because I lost over $6,000 on trying to be kind.
Oh, my God, what a joke.
To my cousin and letting her stay in my house.
I can't believe people lie like they do.
And all she did was totally rip me off.
And this is her reputation.
She totally took advantage of me.
Good riddance.
I'm never going to talk to her again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dom's
is suing her former roommate, 24-year-old Marquivas Fudge, for unpaid bills, damaged and stolen property, and the cost to change their locks.
Ms. Doms, the defendant was your roommate for a relatively short period of time, despite the fact that he had signed a 1-year lease. and you wanted him out of the apartment because it is your claim that you weren't getting along and that he stole things from you, that you were forced to change the locks on the house, and you want him to be responsible to the tune of $3,441. Let's deal with the easy things first.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He took the gift boxes. The makeup was floating in dirty trash water. I have photos to prove that.
You have no photos that involve him.
You think he would take the package and pose for me for a photo to show me him stealing it?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Annalise Dom says former roommate Marquivas Fudge owes for bills, damaged and stolen property, and lock-changing fees.
When he left, he returned the keys to you.
Nope.
Is that true?
I did not return them to her. I returned them to the landlord, Fred.
Okay, that's easy enough to find out.
Well, the landlord called me on December 30th.
You can't tell me what the landlord said to you.
Well, they called to say that Mark had evacuated, and I came back to my place after Christmas, after being at my mom's, and his stuff was still in the living room. So I didn't know what to do with his stuff, and I was gonna hold it ransom for the bill money he owed me. But he let himself in on the January 2nd with the key. He let himself in. I was changing the locks on the 2nd. The locksmith was supposed to be there at 9 a.m.
How could you change the locks? He had a year lease.
Because he stole from me and I didn't feel safe. He threatened me on Facebook. He threatened me in text messages and I didn't feel safe and I had to get him out.
Well, there are procedures for that.
Yes,
madam.
I tried to evict him. I had my lawyer write a letter to my landlord to try to evict him because he violated the lease by storing urine in his room. So that letter got me nowhere because my landlord said, you know, if they both want to be evicted, I'll evict them both, but I'm not going to evict him over him storing urine in his room.
Over some story. Now, all right, let's get to, you have no proof that he did not return the keys. And the reason you changed the locks was not because he didn't return the keys, because you would have changed the locks anyway.
Not under a normal circumstance if a roommate moves out.
I'm talking about under this circumstance.
Under this circumstance, with someone threatening me and stealing from me, yes, I would change the locks.
Well, then he's not.
He threatened me and stole from me, and if I didn't change the locks, he could come back in.
Now let's get to stealing from you. What did he steal from you, when, and what proof do you have that he stole from you?
He kept taking money from my wallet. No,
just a second. Did you ever see him take money from your wallet?
No, he just kept taking it.
That's not proof.
Well,
did you take money from her wallet?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay, so he says he didn't take it. You say he took it, but you have no proof that he took money from your wallet.
But I have the dates that I was missing the money, and I have the amount of money I was missing.
It doesn't matter.
And he stole money that friends and family sent me. My mom sent me cards in the mail with money, and he took the cards and the money.
All I need is, other than you making a statement that he did it, I need proof that he did it.
I had cards on my mantle with birthday money in them. He took all that.
Did you ever see him take the cards with the
No,
birthday?
he was pretty sneaky about it.
Okay, then we have no proof.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I called the cops because I knew he had it, and the cop, I can't tell you what the cop said because that's hearsay.
You're correct.
But the cop believed he had it, and...
You can't say that either.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Annalise Dom says bills, damaged and stolen property, and lock-changing fees.
Keep going.
Okay, well, let's see. December 5th, 2015, my witness, Dan, brought over a package of Dior makeup for me that cost $152, and we put it on the coffee table. We went out to see a movie, and in that time period, Mark Kevius came home, and when we got home, the Dior package was gone. And we asked him, where is it? And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. Someone must have come in the back and taken the package and scaled the wall, and he would want to take something light, he said. And so I called the cops because I knew he had it. And the cop, I can't tell you what the cop said because that's hearsay.
You're correct.
But the cop believed he had it, and...
You can't say that either.
Okay.
Do you understand? You can't say that either.
Okay,
I'm certain
but...
if you called the police on that day, did they search his room?
They did not.
Okay.
I guess they didn't have a warrant.
No, don't tell me what you guess. Did they ask to search his room?
I'm not sure because
You don't know that either. Okay. What's next?
Well, we found The Dior package destroyed in the trash. He put it in my back trash.
Just a second.
And it stayed there for months because we got a big snowstorm and they weren't taking out the trash, so he put it under lots
Listen
of
to
trash.
me. What you are doing is speculating. You found the Dior bag in the back of your house.
It was ruined. I have photos to prove that.
I don't care. You have to connect the dots. You have to say, the trash where I found the items that were stolen were under his control. If I didn't see him, they were under his control. You have no connection to any theft. I mean, I read your papers. It didn't appear that you had any connection to any theft. It may well have been that the defendant stole property from you. It may well have been that he stole money. It may have been that this lady who's sitting in the front row did the same thing. It's all possible. But in a court, you have to have proof. You can't just come in and say, he took money out of my wallet and he stole birthday money out of cards. And I found a bag.
The Dior package was unwrapped. He took the gift boxes. The makeup was floating in dirty trash water. I have photos to prove that.
You have no photos that involve him. What do you have that involves him?
Do you think he would take the package and pose for me for a photo to show me him stealing it?
You need proof that someone is a thief, which is why they didn't arrest him, and which I can't, for the same reason, I can't find him guilty of theft.
I have the police reports.
Well, that I'll read.
The first two are incorrect. The last...
No, don't tell me any. Don't tell me. The police report speaks for itself. So if you're introducing it, it's coming in and it speaks for itself.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
Scientifically proven to improve joint comfort. Effective at a cellular level. Cosamin. For joint health, it's time to start believing again.
Attention railroad workers, if you've been diagnosed with cancer, it may be linked to your job and you may be entitled to compensation. We can help you. Call 1-800-LAW-HELP now.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I've read the police reports. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in them.
Anything
else?
They incorrectly stated that I called because I was missing $20 from my wallet. I was missing $20 from my wallet many times living with Markevius, but I didn't call about that.
Okay, you have no case against him for stealing your property. Neither the police nor I find any evidence that you have.
He stole my computer.
We're moving on. Go.
I have
Next.
the receipts from the computer that was
Next.
purchased.
I don't care what you have receipts for unless you have proof that he took it.
I came back from my mom's from Christmas, and it was not where it used to be, in between the two bookcases where I kept it. He took it to sell for parts. Posed again for a picture.
Okay. We're done.
Stealing.
We're done. Case is dismissed. We're over.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A mechanic-client relationship in need of repair.
He never fixed it and he has a title, so what can I do with a car with no title?
Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did. Glad you kept on talking.
Judge Judy.
A month after he moved in, he gave us bed bugs, and he didn't pay his part of the bed bug fee.
It wasn't my fault. The bed bugs were in the couch that she slept in all the time.
He's a thief. He's a dirty thief. He never showered. He stored urine in his room.
I'm a very lazy person, so.
He's disgusting. He's deplorable.
Bottles is right there because I just finished using them, so why not?
He's a disgusting individual. I would never, ever want to see him again.
She's just saying all these things because she's trying to get money out of me.
He's a good liar, and he's a really good, you know, he can be really charming when he wants to be.
She's just being crazy.
Watch out for Markevius Tyree Fudge.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad to be out of there. My mom's glad I'm out of there. Everybody's like, oh, my God, this lady is crazy. We're happy you're out of there.
You bought a car with no title. Why?
Because he said he could get the title in my name for me.
A mechanic-client relationship in need of repair.
He never fixed it and he had...
Is running on fumes.
I have text messages telling him I'm on my way to get the car. I have the money and everything. He's avoided me for months.
Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did. Glad you kept on talking.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jamaica Miller is suing her former friend, DeAndre Walton, for the value of a car and the return of money she paid him to fix it.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 142 on the calendar in the matter of Miller versus Walton.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Miller, it is your claim that Mr. Walton owes you some money for a car that he was supposed to fix. The case is a little bit fuzzy, so I'm going to try to recreate in my own mind what you're complaining about. Mr. Walton has a silly counterclaim that I'm going to deal with in due course. You have a son.
Yes.
Teenage son.
Yes.
How old?
17.
Some time ago, you bought him a car
Yes.
that was not running.
Yes.
So how long ago did you buy him this non-running automobile? On what date?
I want to say around October. They off of Facebook named Kiara.
What year car?
A 1999.
1999 what?
Oldsmobile Integra.
And it was listed as a non-running car.
Yes.
So if you paid more than a couple of $100s for this, you'd be crazy, right?
Right.
How much did you pay her for it?
I paid her $500 for it.
Okay, so you gave her $500. She gave you the car, and you towed the car.
Well, I didn't actually tow the car. I have a guy who tows for me.
Okay. And that was in October?
No, it was 11/18/2015.
November 18th?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that sound familiar? Not October, November?
Yes.
So your son's birthday had passed?
Yes.
By the time he towed it?
Yes.
Where were you living in October and November of 2015? In what city and state?
St. Peters, Missouri.
And when did you move from St. Peters, Missouri?
February 28th of 2016.
And where did you move to?
Houston, Texas.
Did your son move with you?
Yes.
So that you left in February without the car?
Yes.
Now, at some point, Mr. Walton says he got fed up with storing this car that he got running, and he drove the car. Did you drive it or tow it?
We towed the car.
To
her father's house after.
Now, why did you tow the car?
Because it had no plates on it. It had.
Never registered the car.
No, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Why?
DeAndre had my title.
Why?
Because when I first bought the car from Kiara, the car lot that she bought the car from was out of business, so she didn't have any paperwork besides that title. And when we went to the DMV, they said she needed paperwork, like a bill of sale or something. I don't know. But I explained to DeAndre what was going on. I was telling him I may just give her the car back because it seemed like it's going to be hard to title.
So now you had a car with no title.
I have a title. I just don't have
How did you get a title?
She had the title, but not the paperwork that I guess the car dealer give you. I don't know, like a bill of sale or something. I'm not sure.
Where's the title now?
I gave it to DeAndre.
Why is my question.
Because he said he can get the title in my name for me.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. But it wasn't going to be in her name. It would have been in my shop name, which the title would have came back in my shop name. Because what I did was I actually did a mechanic lien and put a mechanic lien on the title to get a clean title to the car. The car wasn't registered to a Kiara. It was registered to Richard.
I knew this case was fuzzy. I just knew the case was.
He was the last owner of the vehicle who registered the car.
So the person she gave $500 to was not the title holder of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you now have the title to the car?
It is actually in my shop name.
And it's parked in front of her grandfather's house?
No, it's parked in the backyard of her father's house.
How much money, Mr. Walton, did Miss Miller give you to fix the car?
Altogether, she never paid me any money. She gave me $40 for the part that she needed to put the belt back on the car.
Other than the $40 she gave you, did she give you any other money?
The money to do the mechanic lien on the car.
What do you mean the money to do the mechanics lien?
Like, it costs to do a mechanic lien on the vehicle, so she paid me the amount of money that I needed to do the mechanic lien for the car.
I gave him $150 for the titling of the car.
So other than the $40 and $150 for the mechanics lien, you got no money from Miss Miller?
No, ma'am.
You have any proof that you gave him any money, Miss Miller? Do you have any proof that you
I gave him the $190 altogether?
I don't care about the $190.
Oh, no, I didn't pay after the car was dropped off, no.
Well,
I only pay him the $190, the $150 for the title and the $40 for the part for the car. DeAndre never fixed the car.
Just a second. So it's at your father's house. Bring it to somebody else.
He never fixed it and he has a title. So what can I do with a car with no title?
You had a car with no title. You bought a car with no title.
I had a title to the car.
No, you didn't buy the car from anybody who had not Keandra.
The title was signed over to Keandra.
Listen, you want the car?
Yes,
Call
I
your
want.
father and go get it. Do you get along with your father?
Yes, I get along with my father, but he dropped off the car. There's nothing I can do with a car with no title.
Just a second. Your mechanic's lien is for how much money?
You mean, what do you mean? I mean,
well, a mechanic's lien indicates that you've done work on the car, and she did not pay you for the car, and therefore you put a mechanic's lien on the car, unless this was some sort of a scam between the two of you to get a clean title.
No, it wasn't a scam between neither one of us to get.
Well, then why would
title.
you put a mechanic's lien on it before you do any work on it?
Because that's the only way I'll be able to apply and get a title for the car.
That's what I said. It was, just a second. That's a scam. That's a scam. If the only way that you could get a clean title for the car is to put a mechanic's lien on the car, and you were doing her a favor to put a mechanic's lien on the car.
But he never said he was putting a mechanic lien. He said that he was titling
That's a scam. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So the car is in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, do you have the title?
I have it, but I don't have it with me.
Well, you have to turn that over to her.
He don't have the title. I've been trying to get the title for months from him.
It took 2 months for the title to come back clean because it was an Illinois title under my business name.
Fine, you have to get the title and give it
but
to her and sign it over
I have
to
him saying that he had the title and he wouldn't give it to me.
Listen, he's not giving you $1,200.
He didn't fix my car.
Understand something. He's not giving you $1,200.
Well, he can give me the title and the car back. That's fine, too.
Listen to me, Miss Miller. He's not bringing the car to Houston. The car is in your father's backyard. I'm directing that he turn the title over to you. He did no other work on the car.
But he doesn't have the title, Miss Judy.
I do have the title, Miss Judy.
Why didn't he give me the title then? Because I had the money. I have text messages telling him I'm on my way to get the car. I have the money and everything. He's avoided me for months.
Just a second. Did you do any work on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am.
How much work did you put? I'm glad you kept on talking.
Yes, ma'am.
How much work did you put in the
I put the new pulley that she paid for on the car. We put the belt on the car. Where the alternator sits, it was screws that were missing. That's why the belt kept popping off along with the pulley being broke.
You told her how much it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Now we're getting to it. So how much did you tell her it was to fix the car?
I told her I was going to charge her $200 to fix the car.
When did you tell him you were on your way over with the money?
I've told him 2 different times. I told him once he gave me the runaround. So I texted him a couple more times. Then I told him again on February the 17th is when I showed up at his shop, his mom's house, and everything because he wasn't there.
With how much money?
With $120, which is what he told me I owe, and I have that.
Well, you paid him $190.
He said my remaining balance is $120, and I had that.
So that the mechanic's lien on the car should be for $120. Is that right?
No, ma'am. The original agreement was for me doing the mechanic lien. It was $150 just for the mechanic lien. That had nothing to do with.
Just a minute. I'm not getting involved with the mechanic's lien. The mechanic's lien was a scam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The mechanic's lien was a scam to get a clean title.
He didn't say he was doing it.
Because otherwise, you don't put a mechanic's lien on the car. This was an agreement between the two of you because she couldn't register the car for some bizarre reason, and I don't even want to know why.
And later today.
When did you sell the car to Miss Edwards?
In the middle of February.
Why?
Because I was almost done. I had called.
If you tell the truth, you don't have to fumfa around and you won't look ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jamaica Miller says former fraud and the return of money she paid him to fix it. DeAndre is countersuing for storage fees and an unpaid bill.
Now, mechanic's lien was a scam to get a clean title. Because otherwise, you don't put a mechanic's lien on the car. You put a mechanic's lien on the car if you've done work and the person refuses to pay you. That was not the case. This was an agreement between the two of you because she couldn't register the car for some bizarre reason, and I don't even want to know why.
The title was filled up on the back.
What is what?
The title was signed in multiple places on the back of the title, so there was nowhere else for her to sign to even register the car.
Listen to me. I know that something isn't kosher, so that what I want you to do now is you have a title to the car in your shop's name, a car that she purchased for $500.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? I don't care about the mechanic's lien. That's a scam thing that I'm not dealing with. Your cost to fix the car was $200.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you want the car back, you have to pay him $200. Do you want the car back?
But why do I owe?
With the title signed over to you. That way, you've paid $500 for the car. You've paid him for fixing the car.
Ma'am, he didn't fix the car at all.
Listen to me. Care.
So why do I have to pay for him to fix the car?
If you pay him the $200 that he spent towing back and forth, and he says he fixed those items, and I believe him, because I don't believe you're telling me the whole story, then tell your father you're coming to get the car. Do you want to pay him the $200?
He didn't fix my car. I'm not paying him.
The answer is no, you don't. Is that right?
Yes, I don't want to pay him for a car he didn't fix.
Great. Well, now you're
what
living
about
not
the
in
$190
Missouri,
I
now you're
paid
living
him
in
and the
Texas.
$40?
This non-running vehicle that you paid $500 for is now in Missouri at your father's house. Maybe your father wants the car. He's going to get disgusted with the car in his backyard.
Okay, I'll pay the $200 for the title. That's fine.
Fine.
I just want the title.
She's going to pay you $200, and you're going to sign the title over to her.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I will prepare that order. She can take that order. As soon as you get the $200, she can take it to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Missouri.
He's been lying about that title forever. I don't think he ever had the title. He even claimed it on the insurance for his mechanical thing. He said that it was his.
That's my judgment. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I guess she mad because justice was served. I did the work. All I wanted was to get paid for what I fixed on the car.
All parties in the matter of Edwards versus Campbell. Step forward.
20-year-old Shantia Edwards is suing her former friend, Jay Campbell, for the return of money she paid for a 2006 Chevy Impala.
Bird, while I'm asking these people some questions, would you look up the value of a 2006 Chevrolet Impala?
Got it.
Thank you. All right, Miss Edwards, this is your story. Story is that you bought a car from the defendant, and the agreement was you would pay him $2,200 for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did, in fact, pay $2,200 to him. At that time, he was the boyfriend of a cousin of yours, and what he said was, according to you, he said he had another one payment to make on the car, and after he had made that one payment, he would give you the title, because then it would be a clear title without a lien on it from the lending institution. So far, we understand each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that what he told you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So you paid him $2,200 for this 2006 Chevy Impala, and a couple of weeks later, you walked out of your door, and lo and behold, the car had been repossessed because he hadn't been making the payments. He was payments behind, and he didn't have. So the car was repossessed. You lost your $2,200.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says that was not your agreement. The defendant says your agreement was that the $2,200 was $2,200 as a down payment, and then you would make the remainder of the payments on the car, and after you made all the payments on the car, you would get the title. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when did you purchase the car, Mr. Campbell?
I purchased the car in October of 2015.
And when did you sell the car to Miss Edwards?
In the middle of February.
February, so a couple of months later.
Right.
Why?
Because I was almost done. I had called, well...
If you, listen to me, if you tell the truth, you don't have to fumfa around and you won't look ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He told me that he only had one more payment due on the car, and then...
Why, if he only had one more payment due on the car, would he not make that payment and sell the car for $6,000 instead of selling it to you for $2,000?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shantia Edwards says former friend Jay Campbell owes for the return of money she paid for a car.
Okay, go ahead.
We met at Subway because she needed a ride home, and then she was like, I need a car, and I was telling her I want another car. And I explained to her that I had a few payments left on the car.
What's a few?
I told her I had 4 payments left on the car.
Okay.
Not one, I said 4.
Okay, so 4. How much did you pay for the car, by the way?
I put $1,500 down on the car.
You what?
Put $1,500 down.
I didn't ask you what you put on the car. I said, how much was the total purchase price?
I don't remember offhand.
Well, let's think about it. I want you to tell me what the purchase price of the car was. It was a couple of months before you sold it to the plaintiff. What was the purchase price of the car?
I believe like 10. I don't remember offhand.
I'll let you go figure it out. because I'm not going to sit here and play with you. If you remember, you told her that there were 4 payments left. You remember how much you paid for a car?
Right.
How much did you pay for the car in October?
It was 10 grand to pay it all off, altogether.
Okay. Now, Officer Byrd, what is the value, according to the infamous Kelly Blue Book, of the 2006 Chevy Impala?
$6,000.
Okay. So what you paid for the car back in October doesn't sound so actually crazy, because that doesn't include the financing, and you were financing it. So clearly you had a lot more payments to pay out than 4.
Right.
Because you just sort of let it car. And what were your car payments?
My car payments were $240 a month.
$240. Okay. You had a lot more than 4 payments to make on the car. Anyway, Miss Edwards, how old are you?
20 years old, Your Honor.
20?
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you're a smart enough young lady to look at the Kelly Blue Book to see what the cost of a 2006 Impala was. You do use a computer?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you looked it up. And when you looked it up, it showed the value of it, if you would go to buy it from another person, was $6,000. Why would you think he was selling you a car for $2,200 that he could sell it to anybody else for $6,000?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So I think that you were just 2 scammers, both of you. And you got caught in the middle of the hustle. But you knew that the car was worth $6,000 and you were paying 1/3 of the cost.
Your Honor, I didn't know that. He told me that he only had 1 more payment due on the car, and then...
Why, if he only had 1 more payment due on the car, would he not make that payment and sell the car for $6,000?
$6,000.
Well, then you want me to believe that you're a very, very foolish 20-year-old who would not look up before you parted with $2,200 whether or not you were getting value for your money. Okay, so they repossessed the car.
They took the car back, yes. And I told her, I said, we know what, we should just wait till after I'm done paying the car off and do it. But she also said that she needed the car because she had to get to work.
So is what you're telling me that you want me to believe, that you wanted to pay the car off and then you were going to sell it to her for how much?
I was going to sell it to her for the $2,200. Yeah, because I'm like, we were friends at the time, so... That's why I was like, at first I was just going to wait.
You know what, folks? I can't help either one of you, mostly because I don't believe either one of you. I'm not going to get the legitimate story of what went on here. But I don't believe that anybody who uses a computer plunked down $2,200, believing that for another couple of $100 she would own at least a $6,000 car. Don't believe that happened. Don't believe you either. So, as a result of that, I'm dismissing your case. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's a dispute over your authority as parents, that you charged with burglary and theft of the cat. It's insane!
Next Judge Judy.
He told me to give him $2,200, and I did. Then 3 weeks later, my car got repoed.
And I was just being a friend and helping a friend out.
To get the title first.
I do feel bad.
I wish I never did it.
It is what it is. I mean,
She claimed to be a contractor.
How much money did you pay her in total?
About $25,000.
But he says she's a thief.
I found stolen property of mine. I changed the locks. She climbs under the house, into the basement, upstairs, pummeled me, grabbed my laptop, and ran away.
And her defense gets lost in the shuffle.
Stop playing with the papers. There are more papers there than in the Supreme Court.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Deborah Smith is suing her former employer, Marshall Smith, for the return of her belongings and for damages from an illegal lockout.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 157 on the calendar in the matter of Smith versus Smith.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Friend of a friend Approximately 3 years ago, my cat needed babysitting, so I initiated her. I re-met her again a year ago.
And when you say you initiated something a year ago, tell me what it was that you initiated.
I had purchased a 100-year-old house, and I was conversing with my friends, and she was present about the problems I was having with fixing the house up. I had hired an inspector, but he didn't do a good job. I needed plumbing, a roof, electrical. There was no foundation on my house.
Were you living there?
I was residing there, yes.
With all those things not being there, no foundation, no plumbing, nothing.
They were operational, but not totally functional.
Now we're going to get back how you came to her to help you with all these problems. Stop playing with the papers. There are more papers there than in the Supreme Court.
He's got a long history, Your Honor. Sorry.
This is going to be very short. Trust me.
I hired an agent to redo the roof, which I knew needed. She offered to do it. She said she was a contractor. She said
she offered to do the roof herself, or to?
That's what she offered, with a crew of hers.
With a crew?
Correct. But she doesn't have a contractor's license, and she's been on disability since 1992. And I gave her a small portion of the job to put in a solar tube light in the roof.
Did you hire her to do the roof job?
Yeah, I did pay her, yes.
How much?
About...
C, general contractor, getting crews to do things in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you acknowledge, Miss Smith, that you were paid to do some GC work, general contracting work in his house?
No, I was not, Your Honor.
You were never paid?
I reimbursed employees that
Don't try to double talk me. Were you ever paid by Mr. Smith for work that you or crews hired by you did on his house?
No, Your Honor. I helped him hire the people. He said he needed people, and he wanted me to oversee the workers for work on his house. I did not employ him myself. He did.
Just a second. I got it. I got it. I got her. I got it. I got her. How much do you get from disability a month?
I don't get disability.
You don't get any kind of disability. Be very careful. You don't get any kind of disability.
I had disability. That's why I've met Mr. Smith.
Just a second. I asked you a question. What year did you start to collect disability?
I was injured at one time in 1992.
1992. Mm-hmm. In what year, which is even more interesting, did you stop collecting disability?
2015.
So, according to you, until shortly before you started to do work for him, you were collecting disability.
I did not work.
Disability benefits were cut off last year.
That has nothing to do with this case.
Oh, it has everything to do with this case. It has everything to do with your last answer. Because when I ask you, well, you paid money to GC, and you start dancing around because if you were paid $25,000 to GC a project, even though you paid other people, then you committed fraud on the federal government. They're going to come looking for you. It has everything to do with this case. You want to tell me why your disability was stopped, if it was?
It had nothing to do with my case with him.
Really? Your case is dismissed. You may be hustling for a long time, Miss Smith, but you don't hustle me. You don't hustle me. You don't answer my questions, your case is dismissed. Now, according to you, you let her stay in the house while she was doing some GC work on the house. She of course said in her now dismissed claim that she was a renter and you illegally evicted her, and therefore she wants $5,000. That's what her case was about, that I just disposed of. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim. The counterclaim says that she proceeded to, after her keys were taken away, to engage in a course of conduct that was harassment, and at one point she broke into your house and assaulted you. You want to tell me about it?
I allowed her to stay in the room as a guest. She lived 40 miles away. I was trying to help her. She had lack of assets. And she disappeared for 3 weeks, and there was a foul order coming from the room.
When was this? Give me the month.
I entered the room. I found stolen property of mine, an old flight suit, camera lenses, dog tags, 7 pairs of scissors. It was a total mess. I decided at this point in time that she had been gone for 3 weeks with no communication. Perhaps it was time I changed the locks. She arrives home. She doesn't even try the locks. She climbs under the house where the foundation wasn't yet, into the basement, into the kitchen, upstairs, pummeled me, grabbed my laptop, and ran away.
Did you call the police?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
I'll provide you with all the police.
No, don't give me everything. Just give me the first police report when she came in.
Okay.
And came into the house. When was the last time you had any contact with her?
In court, approximately 3 weeks ago.
What court?
She had filed another motion to dismiss my protection order. She showed up late beyond the roll call and argued with the judge that she was there, and when she wasn't.
You filed the protective order. Was it finally granted?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long do you have the protective order for?
A year starting March of this year.
And that's to keep her away from your house?
And no contact me.
And no contact. Is there any reason whatsoever that you would want to have any contact whatsoever with Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. I filed the protection order against Mr. Smith in December of 2015.
Was it granted?
Yes, it was.
For how long?
For 30 days, and I came down
Just
with
a
ocular
second.
migraines and could not make the hearing.
I don't care. It was dismissed. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, just like his
Fine.
order, because it was default.
Just
I was not able to make it.
He has an order of protection against you. That means he can't come near you, which he has not. There's no question in my mind that he has not come near you.
Actually, I've got phone calls, Your Honor.
There's no question in my mind that he has not come near you. So why would... What part of put the papers down don't you get? You have no reason to look at papers. I've dismissed your claim. I'm merely addressing the countersuit.
Well, I have evidence for the countersuit, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes, I do.
I want you to tell me how you got into the house in November when you found that the locks were changed.
I was not informed the locks were changed, Your Honor. I have...
I want you to tell me how you got into the house in November when the locks were changed.
That day earlier, the day before, when I was driving there, or actually from 3 days before, Mr. Smith was locked out of the house. He called and he wanted me to come home because he wanted me to let him in the house because he had lost his key.
Yes.
And then he had told me that he had crawled. He's only gone for 3 days. And I have text messages and his employees that worked under me, matter of fact, the day before, he had taken my purse. Mr. Stevens had my purse and had sent it over to Marshall's house, which was my house, because I'd left it in Cooley Dam with him, and he had sent it.
Mr. Smith, when was the last contact you had with her?
Approximately 3 weeks ago.
And that was
at the hearing.
Okay, so this is really what you...
Yes, ma'am.
Pay careful attention. This is really what you have to do. You have to tell your lawyer that at some point, your lawyer has to move before the court not to allow her, without a judge okaying it first, to file a petition against you, to reinstate her protective order, to vitiate your protective order. Sometimes when people file serial orders and there's something wrong with them, judges will do that. They will say, before a clerk can file anything, it needs a judge's counter-signature. Do you understand? What does that mean?
I would like to make one short comment.
Yes.
The judge at the last hearing stated she's a vexatious litigant.
I mean, those are nice words. If they were said, that doesn't mean an order.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
By a judge that says, proceeding against Marshall Smith, you must get judicial approval to do that, which means the judge has to look at the allegations, look at the history of the case, and say, not again on my watch. Do you understand? Your counterclaim is dismissed. You have an attorney. Your claim is for sure dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Doesn't have a contractor's license. She's been on disability since 1992.
My paperwork, that thick, was...
She stole $20,000 to $25,000 away from me.
5 inches, 6 inches of anti-harassment suits that were filed against him.
I think she wanted more money.
I had pictures of 1.5-inch watermelons. He wrote, I love you on them.
No, I did not.
He's a harasser and a stalker.
I don't see myself in jail.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McMurthy versus Sadeghi. Step forward.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry is suing motorist Hamid David Sadeghi for damages resulting from an accident in a parking garage.
Mr. McMurthy, it is your claim that the defendant hit you with his car.
Yes, ma'am.
You were not seriously injured, but you want him to pay your doctor's bills and a couple of $100s for what you claim is lost wages.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think Mr. Sadeghi denies that some car, not sure whether he acknowledges that his car hit you in the back of your leg.
Yes, ma'am.
But he said that you darted out using a shortcut and he didn't see you. So this happened in an elevated parking garage?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this the first level, second level, third level?
The first level.
Okay, how many levels are there in the parking structure?
6, I believe.
Had you just parked your car?
I had just parked my car.
Show me where your car was parked.
This is an incline going up to what would, I guess...
Show me where you parked
This
your
is
car.
my
That's
car.
you.
This is my
okay,
car
and
right
then
here.
you got out of your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were walking.
I walked up here. He was coming down from the 3rd level, and he clipped me in the back of my left leg.
Okay, right after the turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you stopped your car?
Yes.
Okay, and got out.
Absolutely.
Go.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Because I didn't see any problem with his legs. And I could not possibly hit him on the right. Only way I could have hit him would have been on the left.
That's for your insurance to figure out.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry says motorist Hamid David Sadeghi hit him while he was walking in a parking garage.
Did you have a discussion? Ground.
Standing up.
Were there any visible marks on your leg?
The back of my left calf was red.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Because I don't think I hit him on the back of his calf.
Where did you think you hit him?
I don't know if I hit him at all, because what I heard is a bang on my car,
well,
and I stopped.
that's why you stopped.
Yes.
He says that you hit him. That's what
Yes.
it was.
Yes. It wasn't on the 1st floor, Your Honor. It was on the 3rd floor.
Just a second. Whatever it is, it's your fault. That's not the issue.
Okay.
Mr. Sadeghi, it's your fault. You're coming around the turn. He's a pedestrian. You're supposed to go slowly enough so you can stop your car and not hit him. Period.
If I hit him.
You hit him. The question is, did you injure him?
Okay.
Because we have lawsuits where there are injuries and we have lawsuits where there aren't injuries. So I'm going to end your pain right now. You are responsible for hitting him with your car. The next question is, what are your reasonable damages? So now I'm going to ask you some questions. This happened in the morning.
It happened at 6 p.m.
Why were you parking in the parking space at 6 o'clock? Where were you going?
I work at the Raleigh Times Bar, and we're open till 2 a.m., and I was working a night shift.
Did you go to work that night?
For an hour.
Just a second. Did
Yes.
you go to work that
Yes,
night?
I did.
The answer is yes. Did you stay for your full shift?
No, ma'am.
What time did you leave?
From work, she took me. We grabbed food on the way to the hospital because I hadn't eaten that night.
Do you have the hospital report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you. Sprain of left knee pain.
And there was an abrasion on the back of my left leg, which I have a picture of that for the following day.
I'd like to see it.
This is the following day, and that's the day after that.
Okay, so you were fortunate. There was no fracture or dislocation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the next thing that you did? After you went to the hospital, they told you, they examined you?
We just went home. The next day, I called David's work, trying to get in touch with him, and he wasn't there, so I called the following day. Got a hold of him, told him that I ended up going to the hospital that night, and that I needed his car insurance information so that I could file a claim. And he became defensive and said that he didn't want to give it to me until he saw my medical bills in person. So I agreed to show them to him.
On what date did this happen?
February 17th.
Of this year?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. What kind of car were you driving?
A BMW 650.
What year?
2007.
Did you have insurance?
Yeah, insurance, I always have insurance on my cars.
Then why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you see a dead cat? Did you see a dead dog? The reason you stopped your car is because you
No,
heard...
because he hit my car with his hand. I have a video.
You have a video of the
ma'am.
event?
I would love
I'd like
for you
see.
to take a look at that.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pedestrian Matthew McMurtry says motorist Hamid David Sadeghi hit him while he was walking in a parking garage.
Now, why wouldn't you turn this over to your insurance?
Because at the time that this happened, Your Honor, I asked him if he wants to go to the hospital. I didn't see any problem with his legs. And the story that is shown in the picture, I could not possibly hit him on the right. I have the video that shows that the only way I could have hit him would have been on the left. It was all totally on the blind side, where he's parking his car, that he's identifying and walking across.
That's for your insurance to figure out.
Your Honor, I wasn't going to...
Just a second. That's for your insurance to figure out.
Your Honor, I wasn't going to give a person that I didn't know my insurance information. I ask him if he wants to go to the hospital and file a...
Have insurance. So
Yes,
the
I
next
do.
thing that you're going to do for me is get me proof that on February 17th of this year, you had insurance.
Absolutely.
And with what company? I'd like to see it, please. This is from Geico, and your car was, in fact, insured. Well, then I think you made a big mistake, sir, that you didn't report this to your insurance, because you're responsible for his medical bills and for his lost wages.
Judge, if I hit him, then I would.
Yes. Well, even you said you hit him, sir. Did you see a dead cat? Did you see a dead dog? Did you see a log? The reason you stopped your car is because you
No,
heard...
because he hit my car with his hand. Judge, you got to give me an opportunity to show you that that whole drawing is wrong as well. I have a video.
You have a video of the
ma'am.
event?
I would love
I'd like
for you
see
to take a look
oh,
at that.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I think there's a video that I can get from the parking garage that you can as well look. If you wouldn't mind, of course you hit the play, and then you can see that the way he has shown this drawing, Your Honor, is incorrect. Why would some...
Created this, so you're showing me the inside of the parking garage.
Correct, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Mr. McMurtry, did you ever contact a lawyer?
I did.
Tell me when.
In the middle of April, just after he refused to give me his insurance information and he threatened to get a lawyer.
Who threatened?
I have emails here. Once
May I
I
see them?
received my medical bills, I contacted David through email.
Okay, I'd like to see them. Okay, and now I'll see your hospital bills.
Sure.
And so you contacted the attorney after the refusal to pay the medical bills?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. How much were the medical bills?
$1,975.19.
And in addition to that, you're suing for $200 for lost wages. I assume that those were the lost wages from the night that you didn't work?
Yeah, it's actually $125. It's roughly an estimate of what I would make on a Wednesday because I make tips, plus my hourly wage. $125 is about...
Should have turned it over to your insurance company, sir. They would have sorted it out, and it wouldn't have cost you $2,100. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's okay. I still say I didn't hit the kid.
Yes, you can't always give the stranger a benefit for the benefit of the doubt.
I asked him for every information. He provided me zero information.
He was mid-turn. His tire was sticking out from the side of his car, and that's what grazed the back of my leg.
Zero pictures. You can't have all these scratches on someone's...
It wasn't a bumper, it was his tire.
...and not see it as soon as it happens. But it's all good.
Just do the right thing. Everything's fine.
You've tried to maintain somewhat of a civilized relationship with each other.
The good times for these parents were over.
I started reaching through the back window to try to get my tablet. She rolled up the window on me and started bagging back with me hanging out the window.
This is all happening in front of the 3-year-old.
Then the fight turned even more explosive.
He put his arm in my car and tried to take the keys out the ignition. He pulled my gas tank back and tried to put a lit cigarette in there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. 23-year-old Jeloni Thompson is suing her daughter's father, 25-year-old Carl McCaskill, for vandalizing her car.
Order. All rise. That's case number 165 on the calendar, the matter of Thompson versus McCaskill.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Thompson, you and Mr. McCaskill were a couple, and you have a 3-year-old child together.
Yes, we do.
I gather from the complaint and answer that you filed that you've tried to maintain somewhat of a civilized relationship with each other, even going to certain functions together with your daughter. This case is about an incident that occurred at one of those events.
Yes, ma'am.
Where it is your claim that Mr. McCaskill vandalized your car during an argument.
Yes.
His story is quite different. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
relate the story to me as he sees it through his lens. When did you two stop living together?
We were never living together. We would just co-parent. We would just sleep over each other's houses, but we wouldn't live together.
When was the last time that happened?
A while ago. It was months ago.
Give me a month. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. Give me a month. That the last time either you stayed over at his house or he stayed over at your house. Tell me, Mr. McCaskill, she doesn't remember. You want to tell me?
I think it was around April.
April. How do you remember it was April?
My birthday.
So after April, you did not have any co-parenting sleepovers?
No.
But you saw each other on your birthday. That's very interesting. To me, Mr. McCaskill, that's a very interesting thing, that you would select to have a sleepover with Miss Thompson on your birthday if you're no longer together.
I'm not saying we slept together. It was just, that's around the time, my birthday, not the last time we slept with each other yet.
On your birthday?
Yeah, around my birthday, not exactly my birthday.
I didn't see it.
Okay. You have a little girl, is that right, Mr. McCaskill?
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to tell me when the last time you saw her.
The day of the incident.
What was that date?
Memorial Day, I believe.
Why don't you tell me your version of what happened?
Well, we had the little picnic, party at the park for Memorial Day barbecue. And
who went?
Me, Jelani, my daughter, my mom, her brother, my family. Had a nice little barbecue. When it was time to go, she rode with her brother, I drove her car, and I had my daughter. And my daughter rode together, her and her brother rode together.
Okay, so you were driving her car, and your daughter was in the car that you were driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you finished the barbecue, where were you going?
We headed back to my house.
And was she going to follow you?
She didn't follow me, but she knew where we were going because we did the picnic in St. Louis.
If you were going back to your house with your daughter?
Really wasn't no plan I was going to get. We alternate weeks. I keep my daughter for a week, she had her for a week.
So you were going to keep her for the week?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then why were you driving her car?
She was coming back. Her and her brother, they rode.
Because the barbecue.
Shh. Yeah, I just drove her car because I guess she didn't want to ride with me. I drove her over there. Me, her, and my daughter rode together over there, but her brother came later on during the party, and she rode back with him.
So you all came together to the Memorial Day party?
Mm-hmm.
From whose house?
I believe it was my house.
So all three of you were in your house on Memorial Day?
Yes, ma'am.
And what time had Miss Thompson gotten to your house on that date, on Memorial Day? Or was she there the night before?
No, she got there I want to say...
Don't look over there, over here.
I'm sorry. I want to say it was like an hour or two before we went out to the Memorial Day barbecue.
Okay, so she came to pick you up?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a car?
No, ma'am.
And was it the intention that you keep your daughter that week and her car?
No, ma'am. I don't keep her car. No.
Just her?
Just your daughter.
My daughter. Okay. Pick it up from there.
Okay, so we had the barbecue.
You had the barbecue, you were going home, now you're at your house, the daughter is in your car, she's driving, you're meeting up at your house with her brother.
Yeah, when they pulled up, I had my daughter was still sitting in, hadn't nobody else made it back to my house yet, so me and my daughter were sitting there. When they pulled up, she said I had an attitude about something, like, she came to me with an attitude. That's how the whole situation started. We argued a little bit. Like I said, it was my turn to get my daughter. Well, she didn't bring my daughter, like, the diapers, the clothes and stuff. None of that was there. You know what I'm saying? So I asked her, could she go get it? She didn't want to.
Okay, so she didn't bring it to your house at all?
No.
You mean clothes?
Clothes, diapers, all that. And that was my issue. I was like, well, I don't have none of this here, so I can't keep her tonight. Either you can go home and get it, or you can just bring her tomorrow with the stuff. That was a problem.
What was the problem? Either leaving her without the stuff or going...
I guess she didn't want to take my daughter back with her. Like, because it was my week, I guess she thought I was trying to push my daughter off on her for the week. Not the case at all. Never have a problem. I kept my daughter anyway that night, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we argued. I put my daughter back in the car because, like I said, didn't have the supplies for her.
Just a minute. So you were taking your daughter out of the car?
Yeah, when they pulled up, I was taking my daughter. I didn't know we were going to argue. I thought we were going to go in the house, you know what I'm saying? Everybody have a little good time.
So you took your daughter out of the car, and you were holding her in your arms?
Yeah.
And then you had this discussion about where's her clothes?
Yeah.
And she said, I don't have the clothes? So then you said you put your daughter back in her car?
Yes.
Well, that was the suggestion then that she was going to be going home with her mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then what happened?
That transpired into a whole little problem because, like I said, she thought I was trying to push her off on her or something. We arguing while my daughter's in the car. I noticed that I had left my tablet. Tried to go back around to the door to get my tablet. She locked the doors. The back windows were down from where I was driving. I started reaching through the back window to try to get my tablet. She rolled up the window on me and started bagging back with me hanging out the window. Got out, she stopped, I got out, never got my tablet.
And meanwhile, this is all happening in front of the 3-year-old.
Yes.
Did you ever get your tablet?
I wound up getting it either the next day or the day after that because I told her I called the police on her.
Okay, so she drove off with the tablet?
Yes, ma'am.
Go.
Okay, so his family invited us to a barbecue.
We're past the barbecue.
So before we even left to the barbecue, the reason why he drove our daughter home, because he had an attitude. I don't know why he had an attitude, but you can just sense he did. So that's why I rode with my brother back to his house, to his mother's house, to continue the barbecue because the food wasn't done yet. Because we got kicked out the park because the park closed at 10. So we get to his house. Me and my brother pulled up first. So they pulled up, and we all got out the car. He came back up front, and I asked, my daughter was asking for juice. And I said, she was asking, do they have any juice in the house? And he ignored me. I asked him again, and he said, no, we don't. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll leave the baby with you. I'll go up to this grocery store real quick, get her some juice so she can have some for her food. He was sitting there on the porch smoking a cigarette, and out of nowhere, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. Okay. He literally, out the blue, he was sitting there smoking his cigarette. You can tell on his face he was thinking about something. So, like I said, he just out of nowhere said, I can't do this anymore, and started going off. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I went to my car. I'm in my car, I'm trying to pull off. He put his arm in my car and tried to take the keys out the ignition. So in the event of doing that,
Did he say my iPad is in the car or my tablet?
No, he didn't say.
Just a second.
Okay.
Was it?
It was.
It was.
It was. So, yeah, I did find it because it was dark. It was late. It was about 10, 11 o'clock when this happened. Okay. So I didn't see the tablet. So I guess he left the tablet in my car when he was driving. I didn't take it from him. But he was trying to take the keys out of my ignition, and he's sitting there just yelling at me saying, and just calling me out of my name. So when he was doing all that, he locked the steering wheel. So my brother was trying to tell him to move so he can fix the steering wheel so I can leave. So in the event of him I'm trying to get out, he keeps closing the thing like this to keeps closing the door so I can't get out the car. And my brother's telling him to move. He wouldn't move. So finally, he went in the house. My brother fixed the steering wheel. And it was just in neutral. So he fixed the steering wheel. So I'm leaving. The baby, she's crying to stay with her dad. So I'm like, okay, you can stay with your dad. So I gave him the diaper bag. No, I didn't have clothes in there, but I don't feel like I should take care of mine. I gave him the diaper bag with a couple of diapers and some wipes in there. I gave him that. And I sent the baby to her uncle to give to him so I can leave. He came outside. He pulled my gas tank back and tried to put a lit cigarette in there. And so luckily I backed up fast enough for him to he jumped off and I drove away. And so he called me a couple times. I didn't answer the phone. And he called my brother. Well, my brother was still there. My brother called me, and all you hear him in the background screaming and yelling and going off, stuff like that. And my brother asked me, what do you want me to do with the baby? I'm like, it's his week. Just leave her there. He's with her dad. She's safe. And just come home.
So can you tell me why we're here?
He damaged my car, and I want him to fix it.
Well, what did he damage on your car?
The gas tank. He scratched the paint on it. And at one point in time, I wasn't even able to bend the tank, put the gas cap back on my car.
But now you can. So show me a picture of the scratched gas tank. Do you work, Mr. McCaskill?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I build freezers. Well, the freezers be outside of gas stations.
And you, Miss Thompson?
I work in retail.
Do you have, other than having this co-parenting arrangement, do you have an arrangement for child support?
No, we do not. With us.
Well, there are a lot of chips on this car. I suggest, Mr. McCaskill, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go into an auto body shop, and you buy a little thing of white touch-up paint. When you finish touching up these little scratch on the gas tank, you touch up the other scratch that's below it, the other scratch that's below it in this. What I don't understand is, you don't look like really nice people that had a bad day, and you've been doing this co-parenting for a while, so there must be something nice about the way you still feel about each other. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone to the barbecue, you wouldn't have taken the baby. You clearly, Miss Thompson, are smart enough to know that if he has custody every other week, you can have a life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I used to say that all the time. Why are you fighting him? He's a nice enough guy. You know, you made a child with him. He's interested. He wants to be part of the baby that he made. And it gives you an opportunity to have a life.
The only reason why we came up with that is because he wasn't taking her at all. So how that started was I dropped her off one day and left. That's how that started.
Well, that's not so smart, you see.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
How much were the sneakers that you bought?
$190.
Did you pay for sneakers?
Yes, they are.
Could I see them? Don't get any closer. That's fine.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jeloni Thompson says her daughter's father, Carl McCaskill, vandalized her car during an argument.
Now, that's not so smart. You don't want to leave a baby
With her dad?
with someone who doesn't want to keep her. That's what I'm suggesting to you. You can't force somebody to be a parent if they don't want to be a parent. I would rethink that. You're absolutely entitled to a life of your own. But if Mr. McCaskill is immature enough so that he feels as if this is somehow some kind of a burden for him, as he said, you were trying to push her off on me for the week, then I would make certain that a court gets involved in seeing how much and when your daughter spends time with each of her parents. Anyway, I don't see any major damage to the car.
But
I'm awarding you $50. Go buy some white paint. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
That's my daughter's mom, you know what I'm saying? Especially with my daughter in the car.
Don't want to talk.
I didn't try to blow her. I wouldn't hurt her at all.
Don't want to talk.
And I hope we can get back to the agreement. Like I said, I haven't seen my daughter. Make it seem like I don't want her. I love my baby.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Demisar versus Davison. Step forward.
18-year-old Katie Demersar is suing her ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Malik Davison, for an unpaid loan for Jordan tennis shoes, gas money, and for stealing items from her car.
Ms. Demisar, the long and short of your case is you claim you loaned the defendant money, or actually went shopping with him, and bought him a pair of very expensive sneakers, and you want him to pay you back. Mr. Davidson said that they were a gift, your idea, you were trying to show off because you liked him. Are those the sneakers?
Yes, they are.
Could I see them? Don't get any closer. That's fine. Okay, step back. What do you do for a living, Mr. Davison?
I do landscaping.
Full-time?
Part-time.
What do you do with the other time?
I focus on my football stuff. I play football, so.
For pleasure?
Yeah.
How old are you?
19.
You live at home?
Yes.
So your bills are paid for by your family?
Yes.
And the landscaping business you do all year?
Yes, I do it with my uncle.
So he pays you in cash?
Yes.
How much does he pay in cash?
It depends on what type of hours that I do.
Give me an example on a good week.
Okay, so $104 just for 2 days. But through the whole week, I'll make like...
Not like. Eliminate like.
I'll make like $650.
And how many weeks do you work full-time?
About 3.
A year?
Oh, no. About like 7 or 8.
I mean, you don't look like a bad person. You look like a nice person. You know, you make a couple of dollars. You probably don't pay any taxes on this money that your uncle gives you,
Right.
Which is all very, very nice. How much were the sneakers that you bought?
$190.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I work at Panera.
Full-time?
Part-time. I'm going to school to be a nurse.
You live at home?
Yes.
So you have the same arrangement with your parents?
Yes, I do move out next month.
To where?
I'm going to school in Winona State.
So you're going to be going to school full-time?
Yes.
Did you pay for his sneakers with a credit card?
Yes.
Whose credit card was it?
Mine.
Do you have a credit card?
Yes, I do.
Did you have your credit card with you when you went shopping for sneakers?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because I had left my wallet
Left your wallet where?
home.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Oh, so you've been doing landscaping business since June in Rochester. It's the
Yeah.
only time you can do anything outdoors in Rochester. This would be the time. You're not doing landscaping in February in Rochester.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Katie Demersar says ex-boyfriend Malik Davison owes for Jordan tennis shoes, gas money, and stealing items from her car.
Now, why would you leave your wallet home?
Because I was rushing out the door.
Okay, good. And how long, Mr. Davidson, did you know the plaintiff before you went shopping for sneakers with her?
I've known her for about a good 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Were you dating?
We was talking. We was like into the commits of being together.
Now, why don't you tell me what happened when you went to the sneaker store?
Okay, so these sneakers came out and
What do you mean they came out, they danced out by themselves?
No, no, they was released. on a date that everybody wanted to get them. So
Just a second. She didn't wear sneakers. Say they were released on the date that you wanted to get them.
yes,
Okay. So you went running to the store because you had to see these.
yes.
No.
I had to see these sneakers. And it was the last pair that was in Rochester. So,
The last pair
yes.
in all of Rochester.
Yes, size 11. And I said, I really want these sneakers. And, you know, she like, well, I'll get them for you as long as you pay me back. So I said, I don't really feel comfortable with that. I'm not, I probably, hey, you know, when you get the money, just pay me back. And I was like a little iffy about it, like if I should say yes or no.
But you really wanted the sneakers.
Yes, I really wanted the sneakers.
So you took them.
Yes, not took them, she paid for them.
She paid for them.
Yes.
And that was on what date?
It was June.
In June.
Yes.
Oh, so you've been doing landscaping business up the yin-yang since June in Rochester. It's the
Yeah.
only time you can do anything outdoors in Rochester. June, July. Yeah, so you're working
Yes.
all day, 5 days a week. This would be the time. You're not doing landscaping in February in Rochester.
Right.
So why didn't you pay her back for the sneakers?
Because it was a gift.
No, didn't you hear what you just told me, Mr. Davidson?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, you just told me it wasn't a gift. You said I'll pay you back when I have the money.
No, I said I was iffy about it.
I said you were iffy about it. What you said? You want me to play the tape back to you? That's exactly what you said to me. She said, I'll buy them for you if you'll pay me back the money. And you said, I don't know if I want to do it, but it's the last pair in the whole city of Rochester. And I really want them, but I don't have the money now. It's all right. I'll get them for you anyway. You pay me back when you're wearing the sneakers.
Right.
$190. Now what else do you think he owes you for?
He also owes me for the gas he used when I had to give him rides everywhere.
Forget it. What else? Don't waste my time.
He stole my swimsuit, my sweatshirt, my Victoria's Secret sweatshirt out of my car. He stole food out of my car because I'm constantly working, so I have a
Judgment for the
stack of
plaintiff
food.
in the amount of $190. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It wasn't true what he said, that I just gave him the shoes.
She said she was going to pay for the shoes. She paid for the shoes.
We made an agreement that he would pay me back on Friday.
You see what she did? You know, she came on and said, I did this, I was going to give her that, but really I didn't.
He lied to me about his name.
Because I didn't want to talk to her anymore.
He lied saying he was going to Winona State with me. That's why we connected.
Oh, apparently that's what it is, you know.
Didn't even graduate high school yet.
That's just to let you know you can't trust any female.
I won't deal with losers.
I was sitting next to him. He was hysterically crying.
Comforting a friend required big bucks.
He said that he would be losing his home. I happen to keep cash in my safe.
Now,
some money.
I don't think I owe her that this time now.
I have gone to the police department over 5 times.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kimberly Sullivan is suing her former friend, James Spaulding, for a series of unpaid loans.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Sullivan versus Spaulding.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Ms. Sullivan, I've read your complaint. According to that complaint, the defendant owes you for a loan that you made to him, a loan
Yes.
in the amount of $3,600.
That's correct.
And you and the defendant were friends. You had met through a mutual friend. According to you, he came to you at some point with a tragic story and his need for money.
Yes.
You want to tell me when that was?
September 24th, 2015.
How long had you known him?
About a year plus a few months.
Did he come to your house or did he call you on the phone?
He had called me. We had met, and he...
Where did you meet?
We met at his house.
This isn't
first.
true, Iona.
I don't want to hear you gave you the money. You acknowledged she gave you the $3,600.
No.
Oh, yes, you did in your answer. You absolutely did. There's no question that you acknowledged that she gave you $3,600. You have a different story about the $3,600, but there's no issue that she gave you the money.
Okay. The first moment that Jay explained to me was at his home. I was sitting on his couch next to him. He was hysterically crying. He said that his home was going to be foreclosed on, that he would be losing his home. I knew that, in fact, there was a 6-year-old, I believe it's a nephew, that is living with them, that him and his wife take care of a child. I felt extremely bad and was very worried and concerned about the situation and agreed to lend him the money. However, he agreed to get it back to me in a very timely fashion. He showed me the business card.
Okay, did you give him a check?
I gave him $2,500 cash. I gave him a check for $825 on September 24th.
That's an odd figure. You want to explain why?
He had been in serious money trouble. He said, I believe he has a car payment roughly of $400 a month. I'm not positive, but he needed a check to deposit. He had no money in his bank. He was fearful that he couldn't in my safe because of emergencies. I went to Hurricane Katrina, realized cash is king.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that check?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, may I also tell you some other evidence that I have?
About the money, the cash itself?
Yes. Because of the large amount of cash, I said that I would need some kind of collateral. I had him sign over his pickup truck to me. And
I'd like to see that.
I did not. I just put a nominal fee of $1,500 on it because it's worth so much more that if I was going to get the truck, I would make out better in the deal.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, here is the checks, and here is his signature. He signed it gladly when the cash was in his face. Here you go.
Any other proof of the money that you want to show me?
I just have a very messy checkbook register, and I can...
I see the $850.
Well, it's just that I write down notes. I put $2,500 cash to Jay. I had avoided a check at one point because I...
No, not necessary.
And also, just so you were aware, I gave him quite a bit of time to come up with the money.
I have a question. I know you have a drill.
Okay, sure.
I have a question. Did he ever repay any part of that money?
A total of $120.
When did he pay the $120?
When I was to pick up the pickup truck about 3 to 4 weeks ago.
This is untrue, Your Honor.
When you threatened to go and pick up his pickup truck?
I have retained an attorney in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay, so then he gave you one payment of $120.
Yes.
Now, do you have any proof of that payment of $120? No. You do not?
He has it, but I don't.
Was there anyone present when he gave you that $120 4 weeks ago?
No, there was not.
How was it communicated to him that you were going to pick up his truck?
Verbally by me and from the Candia Police Department. I have gone to the police department over 5 times. I do have statements from the chief, and...
Is that a police report or
just
is a police report?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
There's a couple of reports from the chief because the first time...
Don't tell me because.
Oh, no, well, I'm just saying the dates. The original was in November.
Just a second.
Okay. There you go.
Well, this is an email.
Well, if you look behind it...
This is... If you could return that. Okay. Now I have 2 different stories that you told the police. So now I'm going to go to Mr. Spaulding. It is clear, Mr. Spaulding, that the plaintiff gave you money.
Yes, Your Honor.
It is also clear to me, based upon the police report, which includes statements from you, that you believe that you owe her some money.
I don't think I owe her at this time now.
Well, that's incorrect, based upon what you told the police.
I never went to see the police at all. I never was down there.
You told the police.
This is all
police chief. And you called him.
Who?
You called him.
He called me.
Oh, well, great. Perfect. See? Always step on your own tie. Now, you had a conversation with him, and you assured him that you were going to start to pay her $100 a month.
Absolutely.
Now, how much did you pay her?
Well, on some of the occasions...
Well is not an answer. I have a date on this.
Okay.
How much did you pay her?
On all right here, I've tried to pay her numerous times. I've had her phone hang up on me on occasions. What you're not hearing is the full truth. I did work for this lady.
She absolutely said that to the police the first time, which she didn't tell me.
Right.
She said she fronted you some money, and she fronted you some money to do work for her, meaning that you were going to lose your house.
That is untrue.
Okay.
I never went to her and complained that I was going to lose my house.
Listen to me, sir. How old are you?
59 years old.
I'm older. I have plenty of places where I have workmen work for me.
Yes.
People that I know and trust who have companies. Not people who are going to carry wood from the back to the front of the house like you allege you did.
More than that.
Pay attention. They never get paid up front. They get paid when the job is done. Now, they may get a certain amount of money if it's a huge job, if they're redoing a kitchen, if they're moving my house back 4 feet. They may get a startup money and then bill during the next 30 days. But they don't get the money up front. So there had to be a reason that she gave you this money up front. She tells me a perfectly cogent reason. Now I'm waiting for yours, why she gave you the money up front.
It was a down payment of $800. I have it right here on one of her receipts.
It was a down payment of what, $800 for what?
For work to be done at her home.
Just a second. I'm asking you a question.
And I did some work.
No, just a second. I'm asking you a question.
Ahead, Joanna. I'm sorry.
I never knew anybody who was retaining somebody's services to do menial work, paying them up front. She gave me a cogent reason. I'm waiting for your reason. And if you tell me she paid me up front again because I was going to do some work for her, I'm telling you now, I don't believe that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want to know who the last person was that you worked for and how much you made.
I can't tell you that right now. I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
And later today.
This is baloney because there was no weekly room rental. There was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around because, you know, sometimes you play around and you can get burnt.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kimberly Sullivan says her former friend, James Spaulding, owes for unpaid loans.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, it was a down payment.
It was a down payment?
Yes, and I did work there at her home,
okay,
several different jobs.
Just a second. Now, you're 59 years old, and what do you do for a living?
Handyman.
Who do you work for?
Just myself.
Have you always worked just for yourself?
No.
When was the last time you had a full-time job?
2000s, early 2000s.
Okay. Do you receive any sort of disability?
No. Yes.
Do you receive any sort of disability? Well, I want to know who the last person was that you worked for and how much you made.
I can't tell you that right now. I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous. And
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
But, you know, I just want to clarify something with you, Your Honor.
No, I want an answer to my question. And you can sit down until you figure out who the last person you worked for.
I can't.
Listen, if you...
I can't tell you any part about my side of my defense, then.
I asked you a question. I said, you make a living as a handyman.
Various people. I don't have names and addresses, ma'am, in front of me.
Not various people. I don't want
I'm just
various names. I said I want the last person.
I don't really recall the last person.
And it couldn't have been within the last month.
Yeah, there was work before her. I just can't think of who they were right now. You know, I didn't bring this evidence with me. Didn't think I'd be happy to have this, Your Honor. That's all.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $3,600. We're done.
Thank you.
All right, you are excused. You may step out.
I'm very pleased with her decision.
I feel that this was not treated in my fairness at all.
There's no reason someone would sign their car over for nothing.
I gave that to her as something with my name on it and told her that this truck had a lien on it, that it couldn't be taken.
I'm not going to lend any money to anybody.
She sat in there, she lied right through her teeth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of...
Proc is suing her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Ms. Brock, you rented a room in the defendant's condo. Is it a condo?
It's a home.
House? A home?
Yes.
When did you rent the room?
September 19th, 2015.
How long did you stay with him?
I didn't get to be there for the full month, and it was intended to be a month-to-month tenancy.
I'm not following. How long did you stay there?
Less than 1 month.
And what was the rent?
$830 per month.
What date did you move in? On the 19th?
Yes.
And what day did you move out?
My belongings were moved on the evening of October 16th.
Okay. And I want you to tell me, Mr. Hayes, she moved out in less than a month. Do you want to tell me why?
Well, I put an ad in Craigslist, and I went out of town for a few days, and then when I came back, the first night, she proceeded to have this white noise to sleep with.
Listen to me. I just want you to tell me why she moved out. Did she move out voluntarily, or did you put her out?
I basically evicted her from a weekly rental.
You evicted her?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she said the rental was $830 a month.
Yes.
How much money did she give you in September on the 19th when she moved in?
She gave me $830 approximately, and $200.
Show me that in writing, where $600 was security deposit.
Well,
show me
I just have a receipt.
That's incorrect.
I'd like to see it.
There was no deposit.
I'd like to see it. A signed receipt by her saying that $600 of the $830 was security deposit.
Well, it's not designated. I was in a hurry when I wrote this, but here's the receipt.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
That doesn't exist.
Shh. That's what it's worth, Mr. Hayes. I don't have this job because I'm foolish.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
Yes.
Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. Not surprised that you tried to do it, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Liza Prock says her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, owes for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Now, you put her out before the end of the month because she was an annoying tenant. That's what I read in your order for her to sleep. She plays a white noise, but it was a white noise that, according to you, sounded as if, well, you didn't use those words, like you were in the middle of 42nd Street. Nobody else could sleep in the house from her white noise. Lots of other things that were annoying, and you put her out.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You put her out. You have to pay her rent back. Do you understand?
Well,
you have to.
I understand.
And that's just a start, because you can't unilaterally, you take in a tenant, and there are certain procedures that you have to go through. If you've taken her rent for the month, which you did, then you have to give her more than 2 days' notice that she has to leave.
I gave her 2 weeks.
Did you give her 2 weeks?
Yes.
Show me that you wanted her out at the end of the month.
This was served to her by my son, Trevor, and this is a notice that in 2 weeks she must move out because I tried to communicate with her.
I'd like to see it.
She was unwilling.
That doesn't exist either.
And I did use the civil procedure.
Well, first of all, this is baloney. Because giving you notice because your weekly room rental, there was no weekly room rental, there was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around because, you know, sometimes you play around and you can get burnt. The rental agreement was based on Mr. Hayes is baloney. Now, your loud noise is beyond limits, and you have threatened some of my guests. That may be. But the weekly rental baloney is just that. It's baloney. And you had no right to put her out. She's entitled to minimally her $830 back. Now, when he put you out prior to the termination of the 1 month, giving you no legitimate notice,
right.
And I'm very rarely sympathetic in this kind of situation, but I am sympathetic with you because if he's not getting along, if he tried to do it legitimately, he would have been okay. But instead, he went into this convoluted argument that the $830 was not monthly rent, but it was $207 a week. Now, if you were going to make up this ridiculous document, at least you should have your figures right, because a weekly rent based upon 4.3 weeks in a month is $193.02, not $207. You got it?
In real estate law, you use 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what if there were 31 days in a month, sir?
You still use 30 days.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
I have a license in real estate.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Weekly rent divided by 4.3 weeks, which there are on average a month. That's why your whole story is baloney. Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. I'm surprised, not surprised that you tried to do it, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so you were put out. Where did you go when you were put out?
I had no place to go.
Where did you go?
I initially went to a friend's.
Okay, and how long did you stay with the friend?
For the one night.
And then?
I found motels to stay in. I had no friends or other options.
How long?
I became homeless due to this situation and until February. Many months of not knowing where I was staying, not knowing where I was
Where did you live before you lived with Mr. Hayes?
I was occupying a room in another place in North County, San Diego.
Where were you before you moved into Mr. Hayes' room?
I was living in Vista, California.
How long were you there and what address?
I was there approximately a year and a half.
Why did you leave there?
Interested in moving into Encinitas.
What kind of work do you do?
Promotions. It's projects and gigs, very sporadic.
How do you support yourself?
I work projects and gigs. So I look on the internet, get hired by different companies to work and manage and execute their events.
And where are you living now?
I'm staying with family in another part of the county.
Since when?
Since February.
What items were taken?
Honestly, I'm not sure what they might have taken because they dismantled my room behind my back. So I just put everything safely into a storage unit.
So you don't know what items were taken?
Right.
You don't know?
I hope minimally nothing, but I'm still honestly not sure because what was my bedroom became a storage unit, and I can show you that photo in Carlsbad. So he moved out behind my back.
I'm issuing a judgment for $2,330, and I'm basing it on this. $830 she's getting her rent back for the month that she did not, in fact, live there, but she paid you for, and $1,500 for the illegal eviction. We're done here. Thank you.
All right, Judge, excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Liza Prock is a scam artist, and it's all over the internet.
There's fictitious information.
I was really scared for myself in my own home with this person living there.
The son and the dad lived in the home, and it was a 2-on-1 situation. I was very scared.
She stayed for a month, and she paid for a month. Bottom line.
Very skeptical of living with anyone ever again.
Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car.
This buyer barely got to hit the road.
I bought it off of Craigslist. I got incarcerated about 4 days afterwards.
Then,
now you're suing him.
did the car's seller strike again?
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
No, ma'am. I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier is suing William Bosch for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 119 on the calendar, the matter of Cormier versus Bolch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Car has been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Well, this is actually a pretty confusing car case, even for me. So maybe, Mr. Cormier, you can make it easier for me. You purchased a car from Mr. Bolch. When? Month, day, and year?
It was September.
Him before?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Bolch, what kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm in the oil field, oil and gas.
And do you have your own company, or do you work for somebody?
No, ma'am, it's my own company.
And how long have you had that company?
10 years.
Prior to that, did you work for someone else?
No, ma'am, I had another company.
Same kind of business?
Yes, ma'am.
Different location?
Yes, ma'am, Laredo, Texas.
Mr. Bolch, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I just want to figure out who you are. Who is this young man?
This is my son.
You live with your son? Do you have family? What are the children?
Yes, ma'am, I have 5 sons and 3 daughters, and 2 foster kids, David and Diana.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
I'm asking you these simple questions because somehow Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car that you sold to him on the 18th of September, 2014. So I'm trying to get an idea of who you are and whether this is something that was a typical thing for you to do. Now, what kind of a car did you sell him, Mr. Bosch?
It was a Mustang.
Had you had it for a long time?
A couple of years.
How old was it?
I guess it was around 10 years old.
And how much did you sell it for to Mr. Cormier?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
far, correct. And you didn't know him before?
No, ma'am.
You saw the car parked in the street?
No, I bought it off of Craigslist.
And you looked at it?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went, you gave him cash for it?
Yes, ma'am.
He doesn't deny that he gave him cash, and he gave you the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he also give you the title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
So you had the car and the title.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was titled in his name?
Yes, ma'am.
And he signed the title over to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you can pick it up from there.
I can probably need a little bit of help. I got incarcerated about 4 days afterwards. It was at my mom's house, and she was trying to sell it. She knows a little bit more as far as details.
Fine. So you were incarcerated for how long?
14 or 15 months.
So you don't know what happened to the car after 14 or 15 months yourself?
No, ma'am.
But you were in touch with your mother for
Yes,
those
ma'am.
14 or 15 months. Okay. Now step up. Your last name is?
Cormier.
All right, Miss Cormier. Now, your son is incarcerated for a year and a half. He has this Mustang that he has just purchased for $3,500. Pick up the story. Why is Mr. Bosch here today?
About a week or so after my son was incarcerated, I think it started raining. The Mustang had holes in the roof, and I had no key to it. The key was with my son down in Galveston, about 250 miles away. He suggested I contact Mr. Bolsh to see if he got the spare key. I explained to him I wasn't really sure about what I was going to do with the title. I needed to know the disposition of my son's case, if I would put it in my name, if I was going to sell it. You know, there was lots of different variables going on. And so we had faxed each other, had called each other on the cell phone. I got the key back.
Bottom line is, your son never registered the car in his name before he was incarcerated.
Right.
The title is in your son's name.
Correct.
And you did not register the car.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And he, Mr. Balsh, gave you the spare key that you requested.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Probably a month or so later, my son's girlfriend, a friend of hers who lived with her dad, wanted to buy the vehicle on payments. And then about a month or so later, and I relayed that to Mr. Bolsh.
He has nothing to do with it.
No, he doesn't, but I just wanted to let him know what was going on.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why. There would be no reason to let him know. Somebody else wanted to buy the car.
Right.
On payments. And the car is no longer his. He has turned over the title to your son.
I'm assuming, I thought maybe he may want to know why he hadn't received the, you know, they send a copy of the title, I think.
Oh, you mean because it had not been taken out of his name yet, despite the fact that he had turned it over to you. If you or this around with it and didn't register it, if the car got into an accident, his business is liable. He's liable. His children are liable. His family is liable. So you...
It was a courtesy on my part, I believe.
It wasn't a courtesy. The right thing to do had been to register the car so that he, who had sold you the car, no longer has any liability. Now it's your liability or your son's liability.
My son's, it's in his name.
Well, it's in his name. But then you were going to increase his liability by selling the car to someone who wanted to buy it on payments. Did you sell it to that person?
I never fully got to. He asked to take it to a shop, which he did. He gave me $300 or $400, and I haven't seen it. This person named Adam. He lived with my son's girlfriend's father. He did his paperwork, his books. He took it to a shop in a little town, supposedly outside of San Antonio, to his shop to have it looked at. I haven't seen it since. He was arrested soon after that.
And?
Well, that's the car.
That's
just a second.
And so I started looking for it.
Just a second.
I started looking for the vehicle. I've got search results. I drove around looking for it.
So now, because of both of your irresponsible behavior, I'm just following this because of both of yours, his and yours. I don't care about the car. You have a businessman whose car is in an accident and kills somebody. If this car gets tickets, if this car has any involvement with the police authorities, they're coming after him. Outrageous, actually. Not malicious. I don't think you did it maliciously. But you do have to recognize that you exposed him. Now you're suing him. You have the Mustang back?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever get the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Because when I found the Mustang on Craigslist in July of 2015, I called the Pflugerville where it was. I called the police department. They said because it wasn't in my name, I needed to go to the DMV and get a certified copy of it, which I did the next day. On the certified copy, and I've got copies of it, I have, on May 1st, 2015, Mr. Bolch went and applied for a duplicate title And he stated on there, okay.
Just what I'd
and
like
then on
to
May
see.
15th, he resold it to a Freddie. He resold a vehicle
Just a
that was
second.
not his.
Well, somebody with his name did that. And maybe it was Adam.
Adam is in jail. He's in
Just
prison.
a second. Or
I'm
maybe
sorry.
Adam's
I'm
mother. Oh, who knows?
Looks the same.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'll take a look. Did you
Okay,
resell
I
the
do
car?
have
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you apply for a duplicate title?
Yes, I did.
Okay, when? Tell me when you applied for a duplicate title and why. Yes.
And my son David can, he was at this time involved.
Just a second.
Okay.
Do you know what happened with the duplicate title?
Yes, ma'am. Once we got the duplicate...
Why did you get a duplicate title?
She had called us.
You mean Mrs. Cormier?
Mrs. Cormier had called us, informed us that she had lost the title.
No.
Once that had happened,
I'm sorry.
my dad had then gone to the DMV.
Just a second. She said she lost the title.
Yes, ma'am. She said...
Oh, just a second. Well, if you gave Adam the car to take to his shop, listen to me carefully,
ma'am.
Ms. Cormier.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
If
sorry.
you gave Adam the car to take to his shop just to look at it, you would not have given Adam the title to the car.
No.
I'd like to see the title to the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, one of the things you're supposed to do, Mr. Bosch, is put in the date of the sale, because you signed this, as did Mr. Keith Cormier, but you didn't put in the date of this sale. It's a good idea that you do that. Okay, so now she has her copy of this.
Original.
So now my question is, why would she...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son. I don't know if they parked it. All I know is we got a phone call, and Mrs. Cormier was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says.
And later today,
Why didn't you give her the car and put the car in her name?
Well, she wasn't around at the time, so I just went on and put it into my name at the time, and then when we found her, then we was gonna do the transfer.
You think I'm buying this story?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier says William Bosch owes for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Cormier had then informed us that her son Keith was driving, and the title flew out the window. That is the story that we got. We didn't ask no questions about it. We said, okay, but once we get this duplicate, we expect this car to be changed over.
Now, my question to you is, did she ever tell you that her son was incarcerated?
She did. We then asked if we could switch the title in her name. She made the date. She said, next Tuesday I'll be free. When she said that, we waited. We worked 2 blocks from sign everything over there, and you can get it done. She never appeared on that date. She called 2 weeks later, and then we rescheduled it again. She did this a number of times, and she never appeared while it's still registered in Dad's name.
It's no longer registered in your name?
Not no more.
Now, is it registered in the name of either of these 2 people? Do you know?
No.
No.
Do you know that it's not?
Yes.
In whose name is the car registered?
Freddie.
And do you know who that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
It is a fellow who contacted me. He ran our license plate because the car was impounded twice.
Car was impounded?
Impounded twice. He contacted me, said he traded his car. He's about 17 at this time, and at the time that he contacted me. Said he traded his car. They took his car and some money and gave him that car with no title. So he ended up getting pulled over, and they asked him who Bill Balch was.
Do you remember the date of the call from Freddie?
It was around May 15th, because that's the day that we transferred. So it was about a 15-day stretch.
May 15th of what year?
2015.
Did you ever receive any impound bills for your car?
No, ma'am.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son, Freddie, in San Antonio. That's where the car was impounded at. I don't know if they parked it or was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says. I believe everything he says.
Wow.
Right, good. So I don't know where your car is. You should take responsibility. You got busted. Your mother did not take appropriate caution so that Mr. Bosch had no responsibility for your car. You didn't take proper precaution. Your son didn't take proper precaution. And I find that neither one of these two people had anything to do with getting your car impounded, getting the title transferred, and reselling it. I don't see any evidence of that. None. Your case is dismissed.
Hold on, ma'am. I have a picture right here that shows that the car is parked in front of my mom's house October 2014.
We are done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I paid $3,500 and got scammed by this guy.
I think that they saw him as an easy target and they could take a quick dollar.
They're saying that he was driving the vehicle and the title flew out the window, and I made these bogus phone calls.
You cannot trust everybody, but you know what? It can't ruin your optimism about life and people.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dickerson versus Falls. Step forward.
Robbie Dickerson is suing his sister, Shalonda Falls, for unpaid traffic tickets.
Mr. Dickerson, you, sister.
Yes, miss.
Who paid for the car?
I did.
If you paid for the car, were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
Yes.
And why were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
So my dad can be ran from point A to point C. So that's what I was doing.
Well, but the car is kept in your name. So if you were making a gift to your sister, why didn't you give her the car and put the car in her name?
Well, she wasn't around at the time.
What do you mean she wasn't around?
She wasn't around at the time when I went and purchased the vehicle.
Oh, that's okay.
So I just went on and put it into my name at the time. And then when we found her, then we was going to do the transfer and switch everything into her name when we found her.
You think I'm buying this story? I'm not buying this story at all, so far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh, just a second. Okay. First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Robbie Dickerson says his sister, Shalonda Falls, owes for traffic tickets. Shalonda is countersuing for a false CPS report.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I bought the vehicle.
Name.
Correct.
And she drives the vehicle, and she got parking tickets
Correct.
when she got the car. Okay, you want the car back?
No, miss.
Well, because this car is still in your name, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So you just get a marshal and you go and get the car.
Correct.
If it's your car.
Correct.
But your sister's going to tell me another reason that you didn't put the car in your sister's name. Do you have a driver's license?
I have a driver's license.
Why didn't he put the car in your name?
Because it's his car. He's not trying to give it to me.
Oh,
Right.
fine. Then that's very easy. Then you were driving the car.
Yes, I'll show for my dad.
Good. And you got tickets.
Yes, I
While
did.
you were driving.
I got one ticket.
You got a ticket, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Why didn't you pay for it?
I went to court for that ticket. It's right here. I got proof. It got thrown out.
It got thrown out.
It got thrown out.
I'd like to see it, because that's his
No.
lawsuit. February 9th, 2015, cell phone use while driving. Is that the ticket?
No, miss.
No, this is no, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Very good. So if that's not the ticket that
That's
you're
the only
talking
ticket
about,
that I
this
got.
was a cell phone use and motor vehicle
Here's
without
all the
operated
tickets in
without
collection.
insurance was dismissed.
This is Alliance 1 with the collections. And then the tickets are right here. Make sure for the tickets.
Can I say something?
Nope.
Okay.
All these different tickets.
Right. Them are not mine. Everybody else drives that truck. His twin brother, my daughter, everybody has drove that truck, and they still drive it. I'm not the only one that drives that truck. So that's
Okay.
not my
Well,
tickets.
just a second. Just a second. Hold on. So other people use the vehicle?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I am going to suggest to you, Mr. Dickerson, that unless you could prove to me that she has sole custody of this and nobody else is permitted to drive it since the car is in your name, and what she says is...
These tickets are photo enhancement tickets. Our officer is not there present at all
do you have her driving?
to take pictures of them.
Oh, you have... Do you...
Because she's the only licensed
Just a
drivers who drive the vehicle at the time. My dad can't drive. He has to have
No, that's
one
not what
foot.
she's saying. She's not saying your dad drives. She says that there are other people that drive.
There's
there
no
are
other people that live in the home. That's a lie, Your Honor.
They don't have to live in the home to drive the car.
You-
They don't, what I'm going to suggest to you is take the car back. Do you understand? What kind of car did you buy?
It was a 99 Chevrolet Tahoe.
Great. And you still are now.
The vehicle is still at the house where she lives at.
Get it?
It's out of my name.
Well, whose name is it in?
The ticket, it's in my dad's name and her at the time when the tickets was present.
Oh, just a second. So at the time that these...
Yes, miss. They was already out of my name.
So it's out of your name?
Yeah.
And it never was in my name.
Yeah,
Great.
but they're coming back
Great.
into me. So I'm like,
Okay. You have a counterclaim that he filed of false child protective services?
Yes.
Against you? I got 30 seconds before lunch.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, these are all the officers that I took cards for coming to my house every night, waking me and my children up, stating they had to check on my kids because I was falsely neglecting my kids. He was the CPS worker. I have proof that the case is closed.
Just a second. All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh. Just a second.
Okay.
First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim. Proof that he called Child Protective Services. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $498 for the tickets. Counterclaim is dismissed.
Thank you. Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm just glad it's over. It's ridiculous because it's family.
I'm happy that I received my justice.
It's hurting me because we're not close like we used to, and I would never do that to them.
I still love my sister, and my family's gonna always be family.
I just hope that it's all over and we just get close back like we was and just move on.
She know I love her. Get ready.
Glad it's over.
Mario came up to me and said, "Give me your car keys," threateningly.
Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Carjacked by his classmate?
Your Honor, he's lying.
I actually don't believe a whole bunch of what he's saying to me.
Or just steering clear of Mom?
I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving. He hits another car. He's panicking. He tells me to switch seats with him.
Your son is a fibber.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Johnson is suing her son's former classmate, 18-year-old Mario Ramirez, for wrecking her son's car when he forced her son to let him drive it.
Order.
Yeah, it's case number 121 on the calendar, the matter of Johnson versus Ramirez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. You can sit down.
You are only here because you own the car.
Yes.
You weren't there during the course of the incident.
No.
But this is what you say in your complaint. What you say in your complaint is that this young man is responsible for your car being crashed.
Yes.
Good. Now you can have a seat. This is your son. He had your car that day, correct?
Correct.
Tell me your first name.
Andre Johnson.
Andre?
Johnson.
Your first name?
Mario,
How old are you, Mario?
18.
How old are you?
19.
You both go to the same school?
Yes.
Correct.
How long have you been going to the same school?
I believe 4 years.
Mario, have you ever been to Andre's house?
Only once.
When?
I don't remember the date.
Recently?
No.
A while ago.
Yeah, you could say that.
Were you there as an invited guest? Did
Yes.
you go to a party?
It was an invited guest.
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Did you ever have a party at your house?
No, ma'am.
Was he ever at your house?
No.
Were you ever at his house?
Yes.
When was the last time you were at Mario's house?
It would be a while ago, ma'am.
How long ago? A month? 2 months?
Maybe
His house.
just hanging out.
And when you say hanging out, you were hanging out with who else?
Just him, Your Honor.
Just Mario?
Yes.
Did you play video games? Did you?
Just watch sports and TV.
How many times have you been to his house? All together in the last 2 years? More than 5 or less than 5?
Around 5. Just a minimum 5.
And those times hanging around? Just hanging around watching TV?
Yes.
Now, how come Mario never came to your house?
He was uninvited.
Why?
Because of the car.
You mean because of this accident?
Yes.
I want to know before that.
Oh.
I mean, you telling me that you were at Mario's house after the accident?
No.
Was he at your house after the accident?
I believe he was. I wasn't there present, but my father told me he was there.
After this accident, was the plaintiff there at your house?
He just showed up with the mom to complain about the accident.
Oh, that's the only time he came.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again. You used to hang out in Mario's house. Why was he never a guest in your house?
Because my mom, she didn't trust him. That's why.
Your mom didn't like him?
Yes.
Okay. Did your mom know that you were going to his house?
Yes, because...
Just a second. Did you tell your mom that you were at his house hanging out?
Yes, because even though she didn't trust him, I did. I felt like...
Andre.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you think you're going to try to get the story too, because I've been doing this questioning too long. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the reason that Mario didn't come out and hang out in your house is because your mother didn't like him. Yes. But you liked him.
Yes.
So you would go to his house.
Yes.
Did you tell your mother that you were going to his house? Is my question. If your mother didn't like him as a friend for you, if that were my judgment, I would say, well, I'd rather have him in my house so I could sort of know what was going on rather than my son going to his house. So I'm going to ask you again. Don't try to figure out where I'm going. Did you tell your mother that you were hanging out in Mario's house?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
At the time you were doing it?
Yes.
And what did your mother say?
Be careful.
Be careful. Okay. But you had nothing to be careful about because you kept going.
Yeah, because we have violence on our streets.
We what?
We have, like, violence, like, not a lot, but around where we live, so.
That's not what I'm asking you. You weren't at his house because of violence. You were at his house because you liked him.
Yes.
Did you also like him in school?
Yes.
Got it? I'm looking at you because the first line in your complaint is, Mario went to high school with my son, Andre. He has been bullying my son for the past year, and my son is completely intimidated by him. That's the way we start. Friend. And he used to go and hang out at his house. And whether he told you or not, I don't know. But it's not true, because he wouldn't go to his house to hang out if he was intimidating him. We understand each other, Andre?
Yes.
Now, you were driving your mother's car on the day of the accident. I want you to tell me what happened. And be careful.
Okay. It was on Thursday at 8:30.
Thursday at?
8:30, ma'am.
In the morning?
Yes. And I was hanging with my friends.
Which friends?
Aaron, Sergio, Yuli, Javier. And Mario came up to me. That's because when I got my car...
Mario came up to you and?
He asked me for my car, threateningly.
No, he didn't. He wasn't. Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Because that's why I didn't have my car, ma'am. That's why. When I got my car, that's when things changed.
When did you get your car?
I got it January, last year.
January?
Yes.
That's a long time ago. You've been to his house after you got your car. According to you. According to what you said to me before. You've been to his house since you got your car.
Sorry, ma'am. I misspoke. Not last year, this year.
You've still been to his house since you got the car. According to what you told me before. You said a few months ago. January's a long time ago.
I misspoke. Okay.
So you're with your friends and?
And Mario came up to me and, like, said, give me your car keys, like, threateningly.
And?
And I gave them to him.
And he took your car alone?
No, there were two other people.
Where was Javier? Was he in the car?
No.
What about Sergio? Was Sergio in the car?
No, they have their own cars.
No, did he get in the car?
No.
So who got in the car with Mario?
A girl named Yuli and I don't know the other girl's name.
Two girls?
Yes.
Not you?
No.
Go.
And they took off, and it was around 8:39 that Sergio ran up to me and said they got in an accident. And my friend Rodrigo drove me to the scene of the accident, and I saw the damage. And during...
Go.
Your Honor, he's lying. It was Thursday, March 30th, or 24th, I'm sorry, and Yulisa wanted to go get donuts.
Who wanted to go get donuts?
Yulisa. And I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving to the donut shop. I was the passenger, she was the one in the back seat. We drove over there, we got the donuts, we're coming back to school. Andre's driving, his brakes don't work, he hits another car. He's panicking, he tells me that to switch seats with him. He wanted me to switch seats with him because he didn't want to get his car insurance. He didn't want to get anything with his mother. He didn't want to...
I want to see a police report.
That I didn't have a license because I took the fault for him. And it was a $400 ticket unless I got my license, which I did in less than a month, and I paid $25.
That's very nice. You told the police you were driving?
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
You're responsible for the accident. Then you're responsible for the accident, Mario. I actually don't believe a whole bunch of what he's saying to me. I actually don't know who was driving, but if you told the police, if you swore to the police that you were driving, you're responsible. You understand that? you lie, you got to tell it all the way through. And you paid a ticket, and you paid a fine, and you got your license. And your son is a fibber. Don't believe everything he tells you. Now, I want to see the police report.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
What are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but it was hers.
Just to
and
say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see
Yes.
photographs?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
19-year-old Andre Johnson says his former classmate, Mario Ramirez, drove his car without permission and wrecked it.
Now, I want to see the police report.
The collision report that clearly states that Mario was the driver. I also have pictures of the car if you want to see it. And a letter from my insurance company saying that they denied it because Mario was not an insured driver on my car.
But
Mario gave my insurance
Mario
company...
didn't have a license.
Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of car was this?
The 2001 Toyota Camry.
Where is the car now?
It's stalled in my garage.
It's what?
It's in my driveway, I'm sorry. It's stalled. It doesn't work.
I'd like to see a photo of it. I'd like to see the estimate for the damage. Repair.
It's right here on the highlighted part right there.
Just for my own information, would you take a look and see the value of a 2001 Toyota Camry? An LE.
Your Honor, on May the 9th, I called Mario and I spoke to Mario, and he admitted to me that he did it and that he told me he would pay for it.
$15.25.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,525.
Thank
We're done.
you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
I don't know how she did that, but I was not driving at all.
Mario did admit to me that he took the car.
Andre was the one that was driving. His brakes didn't work,
And that, you know, he wrecked it.
his brakes didn't work, and he hit the other car.
He's lying.
Didn't lie, telling the truth.
Choose your friends wisely.
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
Because you could say someone's your friend, and the next thing you know, they total your car.
Just tell the truth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCants versus McCrae. Step forward.
Edna McCants is suing her step-granddaughter, 23-year-old Kimberly McCrae, for unpaid rent, late fees, an unpaid loan, and rodent disposal fees.
Miss McCants, is this your step-granddaughter?
Yes.
Why don't you stand up? You're married to her grandfather?
No, her father is married to my daughter.
Got it. And you're sort of close to her, I gather. And this is her sister.
That's correct.
And your granddaughter was staying in a condo that you have, where you rent.
$7 a month.
And then you let your sister move in with you.
Yes.
When?
May 2014.
And you knew about that?
Yes.
And at some point, Miss McCrae needed some money, and you loaned her some money. How much money did she loan you?
$5,000.
And how much did you pay back?
I had originally paid back the full $5,000 and then had asked for $1,000 of it back.
When did you pay back the $5,000, and why did you need the $5,000?
It was a loan on my tax return, and I paid her back 2 or 3 days after receiving the loan because I got my loan back faster. I had gotten my...
What did you need the money for?
Bills, certain things like that. I had asked for a smaller amount, but because I was getting my tax return, she offered the $5,000.
And what did you need the $1,000 back for?
To purchase a vehicle so that I could have a way of transporting myself and my children.
Okay. And she said, okay, here's the $1,000 back.
Yes.
Did you pay her back?
No.
Why not?
Things started happening.
Things. Okay. So you're not going to give me any convoluted story. Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How many children do you have?
2.
Are you taking care of the children now?
Yes.
You work? No. That's it. When anybody hesitates when I say, do you work, and they go, oh. I always know there's a no there.
Real people. Judge Judy.
Edna McCants says Step-granddaughter Kimberly McCrae owes for rent and late fees, a loan, and rodent disposal fees.
So you still owe her the $1,000?
I do not believe that I owe her the $1,000.
Okay. Now you're going to get into that convoluted story that we were talking about a minute ago. You want to tell me why?
I had originally moved into the condo because my sister, Sarah.
This is going to come back to the $1,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have to remember that you told me a whole different story in your answer about why you don't owe her the $1,000. So you probably don't remember what you told me, so now you're going to tell me another story. So I'm just going to put my pen down and listen to it. Why don't you owe her the $1,000?
In short, she was more lenient with me paying her back the $1,000 because I was having children and things like that.
Why were you having children if you needed money? I mean, that's not the way to not need money, have more children.
Accidents happen. I see it as a blessing rather than an accident.
Well, you said the word accident. I didn't say accident. You said accident.
It wasn't necessarily intentional, but I wasn't just going to.
How many children do you have?
2.
How old are you?
6 and 10 days.
No, how old are you?
23.
23. Okay. Are you taking care of the children now?
Yes.
You work? No, that's it. I always know there's a no there.
Ma'am, I'm an independent contractor as a cleaning lady, and when I got pregnant, I had to take leave because of the chemicals that I use and the physical labor that I was put in. So currently I'm on leave from work, but yes, I am employed.
Do you get a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks?
Not while I'm on leave, no.
Then you're not working. Who do you live with other than your 2 children?
Justin Cook, my
Does he work?
significant. Yes.
Great. What kind of work does he do?
He's a general utility at Applebee's, the restaurant.
How long has he been there?
A few months, close to 6 months.
Great. So you owe the plaintiff $1,000. Fine. Now you can sit. Now, according to you, they owe for unpaid rent.
That's correct.
After your granddaughter moved out, you signed a lease with just the defendant or with the defendant and her mate?
I trusted the defendant.
So just her?
Right.
Do you have a copy of that lease?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you. Did you move out in December of 2015?
I moved out in January of 2016.
January what?
I believe it was the 15th.
Monthly rent is $787?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay rent for January?
No, I did not. Dealing with a pest problem.
Did you pay rent in November?
I believe so, yes.
How much?
$787.
Okay, so you didn't pay rent December and January,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
moved out in January.
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up, please. How long had you lived in your grandmother's condo?
7 years?
In the 7 years that you lived there, had you had a pest problem?
No.
How long did you live there along with Miss McCrae and her children and her mate?
Originally, it was just her and one child, and she lived there about a year, give or take a month or 2.
And when did you move out?
June of 2015.
Now, up until the time you moved out in June of 2015 and she was living there for that year, did you have a pest problem?
No.
So now you're telling me that the reason you stopped paying rent was because you had a pest problem?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of pest?
Rats.
Now, you have any written communication that you made with your landlord with regard to the rats?
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So you owe her. So far, you've accounted for with regard to the $1,000 loan and 2 months' rent.
I still do not believe that I owe her that money.
I don't care what you believe. It's irrelevant what you think you owe her. That's what you owe her. You owe her $1,000 for the loan that she was kind enough to make to you, and you owe her 2 months' rent. But you acknowledge that you didn't pay. I don't care about late fees, loan you got. Okay. Now, the other thing that you're requesting is rodent disposal fees. What are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but everyone that I talked to said
No, you can't tell me what anybody else said.
It was hers.
Just to
and
say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see the
Yes.
photographs?
There's a bucket. There's one. I don't know where. And this is where the rat came through the wall upstairs. Oh, there's the rat.
So it was one rat?
That's all that was in the house when she moved out. That is correct.
I had caught and disposed of some myself. I owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
What?
I said I had disposed of some myself already before I had moved out of the condo, and I had owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,574. We're done.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Mr. Cormier seems to think you scammed him.
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Next Judge Judy.
I don't feel like I owe Miss McCants any money because I had a rat problem. I told her that I had a rat problem and that it needed to be taken care of.
Never, never, ever, never.
She said that she would take care of it.
I would have moved her and her son out, and I would have had it taken care of.
Nothing.
As soon as I knew it was there, I hired someone to get rid of the rat.
She hasn't really liked me specifically because my dad married her daughter.
No, and her dad and my daughter have been together for 23 years. I mean, that has nothing to do with it.
Well, my family's already pretty much broken up over the whole fact anyway, so.
Oh, it's gone. I have no relationship with her anymore.
I'm just gonna walk away from it, pay her her money.
She made it very clear.
Hope it just dies off.
I don't even know. She won't talk to me.
Time to go separate ways.